Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Theresa Rhodes,
I, Theresa Rhodes,
hereby accept the honor of serving
hereby accept the honor of serving
as a member of the Design Review Board
as a member of the Design Review Board
of the City of Alpharetta, Georgia,
of the City of Alpharetta, Georgia,
and in so doing,
and in so doing,
I do solemnly swear or affirm
I do solemnly swear or affirm
that I shall faithfully perform the duties of board member,
that I shall faithfully perform the duties of board member,
that I will regularly attend meetings and uphold the ideals of community and service,
that I will regularly attend meetings and uphold the ideals of community service,
that I will act and conduct business in accordance with
that I will act and conduct business in accordance with
the city's Code of Ethics and Conduct,
the city's Code of Ethics and Conduct,
and that I shall support the Charter
and that I shall support the Charter
and the laws of the City of Alpharetta,
and the laws of the City of Alpharetta,
the Constitution and laws of the State of Georgia,
the Constitution and laws of the State of Georgia,
and the Constitution and laws of the United States of America.
and the Constitution and laws of the United States of America.
You're so sworn. All right, congratulations.
Thank you.
You're one of the few that got all the way through some of those longer phrases. It's always tricky to decide where to cut it off. Excuse me.
Okay, let's call the City of Alpharetta's Design Review Board Workshop Session to order. Today is Friday, January 21st, 2022. Happy New Year, everyone. All right. Brett, let's go through our applications this morning and give us an overview, if you will, please.
Okay, layup recovery, can't get that case to pull up, but it's pretty simple. It's just a sign, non-illuminated sign on the pharmacy that was built a couple years ago. 305? South Main Street, I think it's 305.
305.
Not part of our old office, where the old McDonald's was. So, North Bolton Compounding Pharmacy is there now. Beautiful building, they're adding a tenant to the rear, which would be if you're facing the building to the left. So,
Will we even see anything from the front?
you'll see their sign.
Okay.
That's all they're doing is just their sign.
Yeah.
Pretty straightforward, but it's in the core, so,
Yep.
or in the downtown overlay, so we had to bring that one.
Do you know, is it shown to scale on the drawing in the picture? Okay. Is that the maximum size sign?
Yes.
Okay.
We did have to
Okay.
shrink it, I think, a little bit based on the square footage from the initial application, so yeah, it's right on.
I love their awnings to score.
Yeah. It's the whole building place.
It turned out real nice, and it's not painted brick.
Right. It's the real deal.
Yes.
The next case, 201 and 205, if you looked, at your email I sent around, that deferred, they'll be back next month. The next one, Julio Jones Kia. So Kia came to them and said since they were not since they had not started construction yet, they needed to come with the new Kia branding part. So essentially, other than this black service part right here, this end didn't change. This did, and then the signage. I had seen this logo around for a little while. I'm like, what is that? I couldn't figure out what vehicle it was, and then one day I knew the vehicle itself, the name of the vehicle. I'm like, wait, that's a Kia. Oh, now I see the I and the A. Okay. So, so they're new thing. I'm gonna guess that Julio Jones will probably get his name down here in black somewhere. To me, I think it looks nicer than what, it looks more dealership than what the other one did, and I think it's fine. The other one was a little bit plainer.
Yeah, this has more of an upscale look to it, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think it's very appropriate.
Question, I know they came back a couple of times with changes. Maybe I was looking at I was looking at March. Have they been back since March? Because the right side in March had a brick base, and now it's lowered and it's stone across the bottom. And
We saw them in February too, February and March.
February, March, and I was comparing to the March package, and it looks like the left side is different.
I can pull that up. I missed that, so.
Yeah, unless
I
they
think-
came back,
They did not.
March was the last time, right?
And they came back and put
So
stuff.
if you look at March, I think
did.
it's, they've changed the left side of the building. Personally, I think it's for the better, but it's,
Yeah, there was both, it was, let's see, February and then March were two, and then it was a year or two before that, we saw the original one come through. Because remember, it had like a car wash in the back that they
a
took
separate
out.
building, yeah.
And it was over some of the setback area back there.
Was it like
the,
a water table or something, or just like stripes of brick? Frank, do you remember?
What's that, I'm sorry?
Was it like a water table of brick? or
It was actually high. It was probably 4 or 5 feet of
Okay.
brick across the bottom.
So at the bottom was brick and the top was like,
It was sort of brick, and now they've kind of eliminated that lower brick and put a lower, looks like stone, water table
okay.
thing, so.
Yeah, I remember it being higher.
It was.
I think it looks better the
Although
way it is,
yeah, I like it.
personally, because I think it makes those vertical elements
Yeah,
stand
for
out
sure.
more, which, I mean,
Well, the black adds a lot.
the black is nice.
That's their showroom, so.
Good morning.
Good morning, Richard.
You're over here now. We're all
You got
moved
moved
around.
Okay,
We're all shuffled.
Welcome to the west side.
I'll have to rewire my brain.
Yes.
Trying to keep you on your toes. Yes. Okay, I'm not sure why it's not opening right now, but I'll let it keep working. It is a pretty big file. And just for the board's
I'll leave it by your hair.
knowledge, we are even further limited than last month on our technology, so
Oh,
what we
good.
get is what we get.
Excellent.
What's the update on getting things fixed?
It's planned, but who knows what the parts, it's all up to the parts.
It's COVID.
Budgeted, the money's there, it's all,
Probably on a shipping
COVID.
container off the west coast or something.
Is it all stuck in,
That long
port too? Let's blame it, it's all in the port.
It's in a container ship somewhere. It's in a container on a,
sitting out in the ocean out there just waiting to come in.
Waiting for my jet ski.
Okay, so that's, Kia Midgard, so I did just for clarity here.
yes, it took
You
me a
can tell
while to
it's
figure out where it was.
Where it's facing and, yeah.
Yeah, so I'll leave it a little bit vague. So this is the inspired living down here. Waffle House, obviously 400. So the building sits about right here. So So concerning the staff is, as is happening currently on the Mansell exit ramp, DOT is moving the exit lane over, so they took all of their right-of-way. So in this case, if they took all the right-of-way, and we'll look at that once it gets to when we open the file, but they're gonna take a fairly significant amount of these trees out here. I think that's problematic.
Is that Morris Road cut through going to be extended at some point?
Extended to where?
Well, up to Old Milton Parkway.
Yes, that's gonna, I believe that is gonna become it's signalized now, but it doesn't really look like it. The striping on the road there, beside Waffle House, doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense when you're there. City Engineering is working on some different, trying to figure out what they can do. Because it's, that gas station and Waffle House got built so many years ago,
Yes.
the property lines are weird, so we're gonna have to buy some property probably from that to actually make a proper intersection right there. But it is signalized already, so if you're in the Waffle House, you'll notice as you're leaving, you're signalized.
Yeah.
But just, if you try to follow the road, nobody knows it. And
It's
then the
it's
folks coming
squirrely.
in From Old Milton, they just, cut like you ran to the gas station entrance and,
Yeah, it's
a hot
bizarre.
mess.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
So, I'm not sure what's gonna end up. Eric Graves, who's at traffic engineering in our office, and I talked about it, and we think really the only way to do it is to put some sort of a planted median, narrow, but go out towards Old Milton, so that the people coming in don't cut across. That's the worst part about it, is the people coming in cut across the entrance there, and it just makes
To the gas, yeah.
To get the gas station.
I did notice, I asked this, and I don't know if I'm just missing it, but they were calling out colors, but there's no color, like it says color 1, color 2. Did I miss that? Did y'all see?
No,
Okay.
no, that's correct.
Okay, bring it today.
Yeah, well, that,
The application, I'm like, what is? I don't know
those,
what
the
color.
architectural drawings were from 2019.
All right,
So the
just
city,
want to make sure I didn't miss it.
the city council minutes that were included
Yes.
on this one says, in the original August 2020 staff report, it states the following, I recommend the following conditions, but it's not clear whether those conditions were actually adopted by council. Were those conditions adopted, but the conditions listed in there, were they?
What's the date?
Well, it says,
Let's see.
well, it has the date of the staff report as August 10th, 2020, and then it mentions a prior meeting. But what's not clear is I'm trying to figure out what are the council conditions, right? I think we'd have to go back to the prior meeting minutes, because this is the meeting minutes where it was reconsidered after,
After going to
Yes, it went to court.
Superior
Yeah,
Court.
of course. So those are the conditions.
those are the conditions.
Those are the conditions.
Because one of the conditions says it's supposed to look like an office building, and it looks nothing like an office building, so. Just seems like a non-starter.
Let me, let me look at that. I'm sure that I did the right minutes, but we'll look at that.
Yeah, because this, basically, I think these are the minutes when it came back after going to court. So it seems like the
Yes.
initial set of minutes probably said we had this set of conditions.
Yeah,
And then they challenged, I don't know, they challenged something, I don't know what they challenged.
yeah,
But look, they must have done it, well, they must have made the presentation in 2019.
they did.
And then it went, obviously it went to court or something, got denied, went to court, and then they came back and it looks like,
Right.
must have been September's, no, it would have been November council meeting. Because they approved the council minutes of October 25th, 2021, so.
Yeah, it says, it actually did have the date in here, didn't it? No, it says it was previously heard in August 2020, and it's brought back before council, so we ought to look at the August 2020 minutes, I guess.
Well, it talks about,
Which one were, which condition were you talking about? What number?
it's the
There's-
third bullet point.
Yeah,
Well,
they're
it's
not-
the third sub-bullet point.
Yeah, on the list of staff recommendations.
And
I
there-
think, yeah, I see. I don't know that, yeah, that's what we put in there.
Okay.
I mean, I think where they were going was a substantially brick, a storage facility, not looking like a storage facility, because we've often used the west side storage at West Side and Old Roswell down there that, by the Kia, as kind of the example of the self-storage. And it's brick on three sides, we don't see the doors for the storage, the actual storage units. We don't see those behind glass. It doesn't really look like a storage building.
So this one on the west side has a bunch of what looks like roll-up doors, but it says they're faux doors.
Yes.
Which,
So I expressed that to them and left it up to you guys.
okay,
So,
if that makes it look like a storage facility.
absolutely.
And it says they're faux doors, so it's like they intentionally put them in even though they're not really doors.
Literally,
Working.
yeah.
Yeah, it's,
So I think that's gotta go away, staff's opinion, those gotta go away, just, needs to go to a better material. If you look kind of just at the bones of the building, let me get it pulled up.
Yeah, and if that's gonna face 400 and trees
Yes,
are gonna go away.
it does.
so look nice.
yeah.
Well, you'll be able to see it now, because I drove through there the other day, and with the leaves off and everything, you can see pretty,
Yeah.
I mean, you could even see the inspired living up there as well, pretty well.
Yeah, I have some photos.
And there's a lot of just
Okay.
blank brick walls on this thing.
Well, and also one of the conditions says the maximum building height shall be 3 stories or 36 feet 4 inches, and it's taller than that, so I'm confused.
Yeah, that's another good point. It's 47 feet tall.
Yeah, but the way we read it is the flat roof, not the cornice.
The roof.
The flat roof, the physical roof or the parapet of the roof?
No, the physical roof.
And it says the roof is 36 feet.
Parapets aren't included in height. Okay.
Interesting.
So it goes to the top of the roof or the bottom of the roof?
It would be the top of the roof structure, and then the parapet would be above that.
This is a flat roof, I guess, so.
It is, it seems to be. Good morning, Pat.
Welcome.
People,
Morning, Pat.
You go safety.
All right.
good morning. If I like this side.
Well, let's get through this
Everybody has
See,
had.
what do we have left after
comments.
this one? And then the cooler, well,
Cooler, yeah.
and we'll do the cooler and then
But you're
we'll
supposed
get,
to sit next to me.
then we'll get Pat sworn in. Okay, anything else on Midgard Storage?
Here's the roof line right here, 36 feet.
So that's what you consider the 36 4 inches maximum height? Okay. Yeah, and they're the faux
Yeah.
doors, or whatever they call them.
This is, let me try to zoom out.
And you actually drive behind that. You drive through the building behind those. It's kind of a lengthy porte-cochere or a,
Yeah, right here.
yes.
And wasn't there a condition said no loading or unloading facing
Yeah.
Milton or 400?
400, yep.
And that faces 400, right? And it says loading. Okay.
So now, I'm gonna guess.
Shall not-
It's gonna have to go around to the other side.
Shall not be visible. Loading, unloading areas shall not be visible, so that's their screening for those areas. Kind of, I guess.
Yeah, I guess you could screen them with enough landscaping.
And
So it's not
and
visible.
shall be heavily screened with landscaping and decorative walls or berms. So they're,
Okay.
they can't be visible and they need to be heavily screened. So, a little bit of both.
Has to be both, okay.
Yeah, that could be a problem for them, but still.
We'll see, okay, all right.
But they could always build a wall. Decorative wall if you want to screen it.
And it sits down from the exit ramp.
Look like about 25, 30 feet.
Okay,
So we need site.
all right, any other comments for on the Midgard Storage? All right, then let's look at the cooler a minute, Brett, if you can.
You last looked at that in December, and I wasn't here. I was part of the last several reviews of this, but not in December. Does that mean I can participate or can't participate?
Because we just deferred it.
I think you can, since you were on the original and there was no action taken on any subsequent cases. That, Mike, since you're here, would that be?
Can you repeat that just a little bit louder?
So he was here in the initial time. This last case has been here, I think this is the fourth time. Mr. Swing was here on the first one, which was the original look at it. Then we had some subsequent ones, two after that, where no action was taken. They just weren't really prepared, so it didn't vote deferred. And now we're on the next one. So I think since he was at the initial, and then there was no action taken on the next two,
Yeah, I was actually at all of them except the one in December.
very last one.
The last one in December I missed.
And we just deferred it.
Is the concern some sort of a conflict of interest, or?
No.
Just that he wasn't at the very last time.
I don't think that makes a difference.
That's not, okay.
Okay.
Okay,
So this is the shot that, we asked them to give us some existing photos. So this, when you come out of their, there's a way you can get out of their entrance or their studios on the first floor. And when you immediately turn the corner, this is what you see. So this is what he was talking about here with the existing metal colors, that existing roof, the clear anodized storefront. So that's kind of what they were trying to portray out before. Here's just another quick look at that. So you got the dark metal. These are the two different colors of banding that's around the other side of the building as well.
Our issue was always how well the whole thing blends with the existing building.
Yeah, and I think
Yes.
they've done a better job now. I went out there and I met with them. I told them I thought part of the big problem was that angled roof. So we're really struggling with the angled roof. So we fixed that by, the angled roof is still there, but it's behind this new parapet that's to resemble what the rest of the building has. And then the materials are the same. They're leaving the bottom open. They don't really know how that's gonna work out just yet. They are doing the fencing is there. They're just gonna paint it black, make it go away. So this looks a lot, I think, a lot more,
What's on your screen looks better than this.
yeah.
This looks like a growth,
well,
but this looks more even. This is like double the size, so I'm curious which, like that, looks like you put a Lego on top. Like it doesn't blend as much.
tell you what happened is I think they did a portrait view of that instead of a landscape,
Yeah.
so it's squeezed, it's like doing,
Yeah.
Pushed it.
it's
Yeah, because
squeezed,
this is
yeah.
totally different.
Yeah.
I
This
think.
looks more proportions
Correct,
than
yes.
that, that's true.
Yeah. So when we were out there, I measured this, can you see the pointer?
Yes,
I measured this parapet and it's a little bit over 4 feet. This one, they need just under 3 feet to cover from end to end, the
Just-
flat roof. The gutter system is gonna go behind that new parapet, so you won't see gutters on this front edge either. So what they're gonna do is the parapet will come down just a little bit, they'll hide that gutter underneath there, and then tie it in over here on the side. So I think it's there, I think it's ready.
Brett, you were out there. How much of that underneath do you think you could see where they don't know what's going on?
Down here,
From street, from pedestrian,
you're gonna see a little bit, but what you're gonna see is this new black fence. Well, the fence is there, it's just gonna be painted black.
is it chain link?
No, it's wood. And it's horizontal slats
It's a screen.
tied together.
Okay. So it will block out part of it.
So we gotta look at the landscape.
You will not see the units behind there.
Okay. Well, they're moving the units up to the top of the roof.
They're moving
That's what they told us
a
last time.
couple of the units to the
I don't
other
think-
side of the building. They're gonna utilize some that are over there, but there is still gonna be, it sounded like one unit back there for now. But the future intent, which they'll come back, is to bring this exact look up here, drop it to the ground, and add their next thing. Once they can get, there's 4, maybe 5 units in there, behind that black fence right there. So once, 2 of them are gonna go away initially. Once they can get the other ones gone, then they're gonna expand that studio down.
So it'll just look like the
Yeah.
exact same thing on
Yeah,
both. Yeah.
exact same thing, right straight down. But I told him, out of confusion, leave that out. This is what you're gonna get right now.
And Brett, so they had submitted, because I know construction started, so I guess they got a permit.
Yeah,
Then it's been
it's been halted.
halted, okay, so they'll resubmit this
So
then.
they're gonna resubmit, basically all they're gonna have to do is, I talked to the building official, and just a detail page on that permit.
Okay,
Really all they're gonna have to do, because everything else is on there.
okay,
This, basically, the bones of this thing hasn't changed from what
Right.
was submitted.
right, okay.
It's just that this board, and I did too, really, just that angled roof was
Well, and
what get this.
they didn't have very many drawings for us either to understand what they were trying to do.
Yes, so I think when the owner of the studio took over and said, no, I gotta get this thing done, now it's happening. And this is what we got, and I think it looks good.
It's much more helpful to tell what the whole thing looks like and how it ties together. We couldn't really figure that out before.
Right, right.
And it's good you went out there too.
Yeah, I mean, it helped. I mean, it helped me see, and I had seen it, but I didn't really
Got pretty far along.
put it really together till I got back a little bit, and I looked at that angled roof, and then just hearing you guys.
Driven down there, I didn't even notice it.
Well, their explanation in the pictures didn't help us trying to understand.
Yeah,
So I think this really is the better way to go about it.
okay,
Did it need that parapet? Who knows? But it doesn't need it functionally, but I think it really tied it with the rest of the building.
Yeah, I agree. Yep.
okay. All right, quick question with Theresa just joining us for this meeting.
Yeah, she'll have to recuse for
On
this one.
the cooler, and then how about Julio Jones?
Julio Jones is, basically, it's a new.
It's a redo, so, okay, you can,
Even though they're
Teresa.
not doing the entire building, it really is.
So we need to approve the whole thing again then, right? All the exterior
Just the extra elevations.
and materials
Yeah.
for Julio. Okay,
Yep.
very good.
And then Mr. Swain will get that answered, what happened there.
Yeah, okay, very good. All right, any other comments, questions? All right, let's adjourn the workshop session. We'll get Pat sworn in, and go get your coffee cups filled up, and let's get back here in a couple minutes and get started with our public hearing.
Otherwise, I'm going to nominate you if you're not on my team.
You gotta get sworn in if you're gonna be vice chair.
No, that's why you're sitting where you're sitting, because you're already vice chair.
This is where Roger was sitting.
No, but that,
Vice chair seat.
yeah, and Roger's not here anymore.
You want to do it, I guess, well, we could have done it.
You could have done it in the briefing, but it really doesn't make a difference. You can just say that that agenda item is.
We should go to the bathroom while I'm sitting here.
We'll be here a while.
I'm just glad you did because you could have reasoned
Are we swearing?
What's your part in all
I'm just gonna swear him right now.
Okay.
this? What's your part in all this?
I'm the city attorney.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, all right. So raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I, Pat Corkill,
I, Pat Corkill,
hereby accept the honor of serving
hereby accept the honor of serving
as a member of the Design Review Board
as a member of the Design Review Board
of the city of Alpharetta, Georgia,
of the city of Alpharetta, Georgia,
and in so doing,
and in so doing,
I do solemnly swear or
I
affirm
do solemnly swear and affirm
that I shall faithfully perform the duties of board member
that I shall faithfully
perform the duties of board member.
perform the duties of board member,
That I will regularly attend meetings
that I will regularly attend meetings
and uphold the ideals of community and service.
and uphold the ideals of community and service,
That I will act and conduct business
that I will act and conduct business
in accordance with the city's code of ethics
in accordance with the city's code of ethics
and conduct.
and conduct,
And that I shall support
and that I shall support
the charter and laws of the city of Alpharetta,
the charter and laws of the city of Alpharetta,
the Constitution and laws of the state of Georgia,
the Constitution and laws of the state of Georgia,
and the Constitution and laws of the United States of America.
and the Constitution and laws of the United States of America.
Yep. You are so sworn. Congratulations.
Awesome. This isn't getting on some strange mailing list. If I get a bunch of junk mail because of this, I swear. Oh, Pat, not Patrick. Look at that.
All right.
All right.
Congrats.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you. I didn't even be looking at Brett for the whole thing.
This way,
I think it works. Thank you for coming. Appreciate it.
We are the technology city of the South. We will fix it at some point. Someday. Steve, are you doing architecture too, or?
Yes, yeah, Robin can handle it.
So you heard the comments about the faux roll-up doors and,
I walked in on that.
Briefly?
Okay, so I did hear about the drive under with the entrance, but I think the grade with the overhang, I don't think you see it.
Yeah.
We need more screening.
So maybe I'll put in a little bit more.
Nice to meet you. Well, I won't be here. I'm actually leaving, so
Okay, so I can.
you're free to run a while.
hey, he's like, I mean, don't give her free rein here, I mean, you know.
I don't do well with attorneys near. I call things gross, and that's not legit.
Thanks, Mike, I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Is Pat in?
Yeah.
So did Frank Rogers?
Not yet. Well, technically, Theresa did.
No.
So when you hit that agenda,
I knew
item,
it.
it just said
That one was
since they've already been sworn in.
Sworn in, sorry.
Skipping that agenda.
Okay.
It's a little. I mean,
I just figured we just.
obviously it was a little wonky because Pat was
Vice chair.
Yeah.
but it's a little
I was
strange.
like, did you do Frank as well?
Workshop.
Yeah, because we have to vote.
They're not going to let you if you don't swear in.
Right.
Which is why I said, let's just swear next to the council, particularly if you're running possible without a quorum, because then you have to swear next to the
Right.
It's not that we'll have to.
Well, Teresa, welcome.
We may want to.
Okay.
That's
I'll make it yours.
So that,
Yeah.
And the Canes is over there collecting $50.
Yeah.
Holly, actually, this is kind of boring.
imagine if you didn't have us in your life.
Yes.
Lotion?
What's it smell like? You don't have,
I know, that's why Katie was.
partner with.
Didn't
You guys partnered on colors and all that.
That's not fair.
What?
He's taking,
And I know.
You know, you guys had a good thing going with colors and lotion and everything.
Me and Richard will go for lavender.
Okay. I think Richard would like lotion.
Go for it. It's good stuff.
I always want to eat it.
Shea, so it actually gives you
Totally lost the
moisture.
plot. No, I didn't know why you were saying it.
Smelling so good in here now.
Is that,
That's what me and Katie would sit
No,
over there and do.
Holly
We would
does.
share our lotions and be like, "Oh, what do you think about this one?" And then Pat would be like, "Oh, can I have some?" And
Car, I gotta be there at 11, so I'll stay as long as I can.
Is that a turning on? Is that a turning on now?
Mentioned about plugging something up.
Legal
Is there a need for this?
No, I think.
I can step it in right there?
Yeah.
Very good.
We'll have some business to do here. We got to approve some meeting minutes.
Oh, absolutely.
But you're ready to go. So
It's been my morning, I forgot
are they
glasses.
readers, like readers? Or
Yeah,
something?
there's reader.
I've got some. Do you want to borrow them? But they're like hardly any. They might be little.
I think I can squint my way through this if I really
I'll
want
put
to.
them out just in
We're,
case.
we're good? Okay. All right, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the City of Alpharetta's Design Review Board public hearing. Today is Friday, January 21st, 2022. So welcome, everyone. Happy New Year. Our first order of business is roll call. It looks like we've got all members present, and both Theresa and Pat have been sworn in, so welcome this morning. That's been done.
First for me, by the way.
A first.
I guess I've been illegitimate.
You've been sworn in. Okay,
I knew something was wrong.
very good.
Wait, we didn't have to vote on it?
Seems like you should.
We have a quick question first for that. So for your electronic devices, if you'll either put them on, turn them off or silence mode. And then let's do this. I guess, do we need to go through election or do we want to do Pledge of Allegiance first?
I think let's introduce Theresa first real quick and welcome her to the board. Theresa comes to us with she tells us a long history of architectural interest. So I think she's gonna do great. We'll give her a little bit to tell us a little bit about herself, but she is our new councilperson, Brian Will's appointment. So we're excited to have some new blood, and get some new ideas flowing maybe, and we'll see, but staff's excited. We had a meeting last week with her, and she had some great questions. So I think it'll be a good transition.
Did you have answers?
No, just normal though, right? So, no, I think we got everything answered that we needed to. The hardest thing was try to talk about how the meeting flows, and she'll get that today, how we work. And so we encourage, any questions you have, comments, you're now sworn in and married to the board, so you're
Official.
you're committed, you're in. So,
Tattoo is nice.
welcome. We appreciate your service.
The tattoo.
So would you like to quickly tell the board a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Do I need to do this microphone?
Yeah, just turn it on there. Yep, there you go.
Okay. So I'm Theresa Rhodes. I've lived in the Johns Creek and Alpharetta area for about 20 years. I grew up in Middle Georgia, and I guess I have an engineering and finance background. I worked in the mining industry here in Georgia and Alabama my whole career until 2016. I went out on my own as a management consultant. I do program management, anything from construction to software. So that's how I spend a couple of days of my week, but I look forward to working with you guys and making sure that we keep the aesthetics in Alpharetta ongoing and meet the needs of the community. And I live in Windward. I've lived there for a couple of years, and like Brett said, I've always had an interest in architecture. I have a habit of buying fixer-uppers, and I've done that several times. So I do have a passion for design, architecture. So I look forward to working with you guys.
Welcome.
Good. Welcome to the board. All right.
Our next reappointment, Mr. Corkle, has been with us.
Don't ask, I don't know.
I looked. I want to say 12. I was going to say 12 years. Yeah.
Wow.
So welcome back.
Thank you.
We think.
Well, yeah, we'll leave that for meetings to judge on that one. We'll get back with you on that.
Yeah. I don't have to give us the speech, I'm good.
No, you're good. So, okay, next item would be the election of chair. So I need a nomination for the chairman for the 2022 year for the Design Review Board.
Nominate Richard Kramer for chairman.
I'll second that.
Wow. All right, I'll accept that. Thank you.
Yeah, it was a tough call, but
Yeah. I was just,
Look at,
The nameplate's already there.
you're gonna be president
Yeah, we already got
shortly at
that.
Rotary.
you'd have to move, change seats.
So he stated that he would accept if voted. Are there any other nominations for chairman? Okay, hearing none, and we had a second. Let's go ahead and show a vote on Richard Kramer for the 2022 year for chairman, and it's unanimous.
thank you.
Mr. Kramer, you're,
Thanks.
you're in again.
Thanks for your confidence.
Did a lot with those laundry.
Keep that pay raise.
Ask Holly what she,
And how many years have you been on the board?
Nice.
this is my 26th year now, so.
Holy moly.
And how many years as chair?
Ooh, 2000, I think it was 2002 or 3.
It's
started.
been at least since 4, because you were chairman when I started,
I think it's been 18 or 19 years now, so.
With that salary, I can see why you
Yeah.
would.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Big bucks.
yeah, that's, I mean,
All
that's his
good.
vacation
All good.
every,
Right.
every other month, so.
All right, well, thank you.
Okay, now we need a, nomination for vice chair for this year.
I'll nominate Frank Schwing for vice chair.
Second? Oh, I got it.
Wow. Lots of seconds.
Yeah, we got lots of seconds. Who are we gonna give the second to? Ms.
I
Palmer?
heard her, but she's right next to me, so.
Okay.
Yeah, no, she said it first.
Okay.
We're gonna fight over that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mr. Swing, if so voted, would you accept that position?
I accept.
Okay. Are there any other nominations for vice chair? Crickets. Hearing none, we'll take a vote. Everyone in favor of Mr. Swing for the 2022 DRB calendar year for vice chairman, please raise your hand. And it is again unanimous. Mr. Swing, you're so
Welcome.
appointed.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All
Congratulations.
right.
No.
No. Did you want to change that if we could? Get back to renominate?
Frank's the perfect fit.
Yes, I agree. Mr. Schwing did fill in a couple times
Yes.
Last year and did a fabulous job. I think his record of running the meeting on time is, speaks for itself.
I think it's spotless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well
Almost.
done. Well done.
Okay, I think, Mr. Kramer, you can
All right.
take over.
Well, let's do this, and let's stand, face the flag, and have the Pledge of Allegiance this morning then, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you for that. All right, our next item on the agenda is to approve our meeting minutes from both the November Design Review Board meeting and the December meeting as well. So let's start with November's meeting minutes, November 19th.
I just found one thing on page 4 of the, let's see, where was it? Oh. On the red part, not the first set of bullets, the second set of bullets. The first one just says board member seconds the motion.
Okay.
That was
Which-
Katie seconded that.
Okay. That was the only thing.
Ms. Rocco.
Okay, got that.
And the bullet in front of that, it says, Board Member Corkle offered a motion to approve the plans, probably should say the landscape plan.
Okay, got that one.
And then down on page 5, so next page, I made a motion to approve the site plan. We had a vote on the site plan. I made a motion to approve, Katie seconded, and it was 7-0. And I didn't see the site plan in here unless I missed it.
Okay, this is on 5.
Yeah, so it would be under
So it's under the KB Ventures.
KB Ventures, right.
So there should be a site plan,
Should be a site
site
plan.
plan motion and approval.
Right. And then under the first bullet, there's the friendly amendment. the second sub-bullet, it says Board Member Owens. That was actually me that offered the friendly amendment. And then, next, page 6, again in the red, number 2, applicant will apply, it should be EIFS, E-I-F-S, to the dumpster enclosure, and there's just a little typo there, which will be submitted.
Add a W in front of the
Yeah,
hill.
W
Okay.
in front of the hill.
Okay.
And that's all I got.
So quick question, that same motion down there, it states, Vice Chair Brown seconded the motion. The motion was approved 6-0-1 with Board Member Corkle recusing himself. Now, if you recuse yourself, you actually don't participate in the vote, right? So the vote won't, so the 6-0-1 should be 6-0-0, right? Because he's not abstaining either.
He recused from the, did you recuse from the whole case? Just
From-
not for voting, you left?
Yeah, it's like that, there's.
This
someone
was
just-
I did leave.
Hampton Inn.
Yeah.
Hampton Inn, right.
Yeah.
So,
That's the format I was given. If it needs to change, then.
We'll ask.
Yeah.
We'll ask
Okay.
Lauren
That's
how
how
that,
Lauren
when you
should-
leave in the middle. Yeah, we'll ask
Okay.
Lauren how that should show.
and we'll have that kind of a same issue in the December minutes too.
With
Okay.
me,
You'll
yes.
see that, and I'll point that out in just a minute when we get,
Okay.
let's get through November 1st, okay.
Yeah.
All right, do we want to go ahead and approve the minutes contingent upon the corrections and what you're going to look at on, anything else from board members on the November meeting minutes? Okay. All right, does somebody want to make a motion to approve?
I move that we approve the minutes as corrected for November.
Okay, have a motion to approve by Mr. Owens, a second by Ms. Rocco. Any comments or questions about the motion? There being none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of approving the City of Alpharetta's Design Review Board meeting minutes of November 19th, 2021, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All opposed, no opposition, and one abstention. So 6-0-1. Okay, very good. All right, let's go on to the December 10th Design Review Board meeting minutes. Any comments or questions about those? I think the only one I had then was, again, this is for the, let's see, which page is this on? This would have been for the cooler. And the first vote, or the first motion was by Rocco to defer. The vote, or the motion was approved 4-0-1 with Board Member Owens recusing himself because he was not present for the first hearing. So if you recuse yourself, you don't participate in vote, so it should be 4-0-0 is the way I see it. Okay, all right.
It's the next one, too,
And that happens also for the next, let's see,
with it's me.
for the Village Park Milton Phase 2, it looks like,
Just 'cause
Polly, you
I
recused
left.
yourself. You left.
Left, right.
That's right. So, okay. All right, any other comments or questions about the December 10th meeting minutes? Then let's go ahead and get a motion to approve them, subject to the changes that may be reviewed or looked at by staff. Does that make sense? Okay.
Motion to approve meeting minutes for December 10th, subject to the comments we made for staff to review the changes. Any motion?
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Ms. Palmer, a second by Ms. Rocco. Any further comments or questions about the motion? There being none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of approving the City of Alpharetta's Design Review Board meeting minutes of December 10th, 2021, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All opposed, no opposition, and one abstention. So 6-0-1. All right, very good. Thank you for that. We've got 2 sets of meeting minutes done. Well done, Alex. Okay, on to our public hearing, or on to our applicants this morning. Our first applicant is Leg Up Recovery. You're here. Come on up, come on down. If you will introduce yourself this morning, Make sure you speak into the microphone and then give us an overview of what we have in our packet today, please.
Good morning. My name is Dan Wells. I'm the owner of Sinorama Buford. I'm representing one of our clients, the Maxwells. They're opening up Leg Up Recovery here in Alpharetta. Micheline, she's got a PhD in exercise science and nutrition, so they're focused on cryotherapy, IV infusions to help athletes recover faster and so forth. They've selected a beautiful building. It's on South Main Street. They're asking for a very simple sign. It's non-lit. So I'd love to answer any questions that the committee has about the sign. So we've got, the sign is going to be made out of HDU, high density urethane. It's a very durable product. It has about a 25 to 50 year life. We're going to paint the product and route it. It'll be inserted into the building with studs, 3/16 studs, into holes in the building. You've seen signs like this many times throughout Atlanta, probably don't even realize it. We also own a painting company, so we do free design consultations for our customers as well. There was an initial awning in place that had some wonderful colors in it. So we worked with Maxwell's and designing a color scheme of their sign that would be very aesthetically pleasing to the committee, that would blend into the building as well. The brick of the building is not painted. The building was designed with a lovely beige brick, so I think the color scheme very aesthetically pleasing for the community and will blend in very nicely. So what questions can I answer for you?
You said it's not lit.
It's not.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no junction box on the building. That was one of the first things I noticed when I did the site survey for the building. The pharmacy has a sign that actually has been painted on the building, which as a company that owns a painting company, I'm a fan of. So I think it's a wonderful sign.
So those are individually pin mounted?
Yeah, so it's called stud mounted, very common
Stud
in
mounted?
the sign industry. So these would be screwed into the HDU with a really high-grade industrial epoxy. A hammer drill is used to make holes into the brick facade. Another high-grade epoxy is inserted with an injection into the holes, and these are pushed into the actual wall. What we can do is just for a long time.
And then even the words cryotherapy, each one of those letters is the same?
Stud mounted. Okay, absolutely.
Do you have color samples for the logo?
We're gonna use the colors here.
Okay.
So that gray is just shadowing, that's an artist rendering there, so that's not a part of that.
Okay, because the one we have in our packet is red and yellow.
Yes,
You do?
yes.
Okay, well, that's not accurate. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's much better.
Yeah.
I apologize for that. This is what we have here.
Yeah.
This is what the sign will look like, and it's very reflective of the awning, so if we can excuse that.
And you said the awnings currently exist?
Yeah, the
Yes.
awnings are actually on the building. We did not put those there. They were there. They came with the pharmacy. So we kind of played on that from the design schematic and blended the colors. They had a black logo, so we kind of blended the colors into the schematic overall to make it all black very nice.
I'm very
Okay.
happy you changed that. Or that it's not this.
Right?
Yeah.
So also in our packet too, on another sheet, is a round logo over another storefront door on the other side of the building. Is that happening too?
I have nothing to do with the other side of the building.
That's actually their entrance,
Yeah, that's the entrance to the pharmacy.
so
Okay,
we're just looking
all
at
right.
the left side, right?
Yeah, we're only looking at the left side of the building. This begins the pharmacy here, and then when you see this jut out on the left, that is also represented on the right side of the building as well, which I believe
Okay.
is part of the pharmacy.
And it looks, is that
The-
there?
This,
Yes, that's what I'm looking at. Is that
Yeah.
there? That's not there.
I'm guessing, it looks
The
like
round-
it's referenced.
I don't think pharmacy ended up doing that.
There's nothing on the building.
okay.
Okay, but this application has them doing this.
Well, it's just a rendering.
We're not doing
Okay.
it to the right side.
Okay, so this is just for leg up recovery. Okay, very good. All right, thanks for that clarification. All right, any other comments or questions for the applicant this morning?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion for DRB 22001 for Leg Up Recovery that we approve the sign that was presented today from the applicant for this sign on the left side of the building. Into motion.
Second by Owens.
Okay, we have a motion by Ms. Rocco, a second by Mr. Owens. Any comments, questions about the motion? There being none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All opposed, no opposition. Motion passes 7-0. Dan, thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you.
You need to stick it right there.
You need like a fancy.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Ms. Palmer. I'll remember next time. All right, our next applicant has been deferred, and so we'll jump over to Julio Jones Kia. Are you here? Julio Jones, come on down, or come on up, please. Yes. All right. I think you've been here before, so you kind of know the process.
The fourth time for this case. I think I'm breaking a record.
I think you've got a long way to go for the record,
I don't know. It's getting close. He's getting close. Okay. He's come prepared. Have to do a little heavy lifting, too. One more.
Not working. Oh, so you have my stuff. Okay. So I didn't need to jump. I can. Yes. Is that the only, is there any way to switch it? Or?
I've got the whole thing, so you just have to kind of tell me.
Can you start at the first, I guess the first image? There we go. Yes. Here's some.
All right, good morning.
Good morning. Steve Ellis, Pro Building Systems, representing Carriage Automotive Group and Julio Jones Kia. Like I said earlier, we've been here several times in the past. I guess the last time was in March of 21. Since that time, we've got our LDP approved, and around September, Kia approached us, and we were about 95% done with construction documents and said, hey, we've got a new image program, and we're forcing everyone to change that's not under construction currently. So reset, redo the drawings. Here we are, we're back. And everything, went blank. Everything from our previous approval stands, with the exception of basically the showroom, the showroom area, the service reception, and the showroom area there.
And that's on the right-hand side of the rendering.
That's on the right-hand side, where you can see it's a new Kia logo. Used to it said the word Kia. Now they have this kind of a little more abstract logo to symbolize electricity, they say. The material, everybody's going to electric vehicles, right? So they're trying to get ahead of the game, I guess. The material is the same, which was alucobond. Previously it was white with a red accent. Now they've gone to a black. And everything else is really the same. The signage is also different, so I think this review would be the elevation portion around the showroom on the right-hand side, as well as the signage package, which we have that in this packet as well. Brad, can we kind of roll through a couple other? So those are the elevations, really unchanged except for, again, the right-hand side with the showroom, the service reception and vehicle delivery. Can you kind of keep going? Yeah, go to we have a few more renderings.
Steve, I'll tell you what, well, let's get to one of the renderings and just kind of point out the materials that you brought in and where they're going on maybe.
So obviously the black portion is a black alucobond.
So that's the which.
Now this is just the exterior skin. The actual material's got a polycarbonate core with a backing, and it's very rigid. It won't oil can or anything like that. It's concealed fastener. It's in an aluminum frame system. The brick, the remainder of the body of the building is essentially brick. The light color, same brick as the last one. The light color is the ash, and then the accent colors, which is the cornice as well as the horizontal band, is the platinum.
So those are the same brick last time?
Same brick as we had last time.
All right.
Now, looking at your last presentation in March, though, the left side of the building has a brick water table.
Has a stone,
feet
yeah.
high all
Now
the way
the
across.
base is a stone base.
Or stone, but it's,
I couldn't get the supply chain issues. They couldn't get the right color and the right pattern, so this is the color.
okay, so it's stone, but it's like 4 feet tall, and on this rendering, it's much different.
Good.
So
Can you go back to that front rendering? So we had presented a rendering in March that had the stone table
That height, right
all
there.
the way up there.
To the bottom of the
I thought the
windows.
consensus was that was a little brutalist. It was a little too tall. So my recollection was we lowered the panels, the brick panels between the stone base, but we kept the stone base to the bottom of the framed openings in each one of the pilasters. So it steps up and down.
Okay, so the wide pilasters then have the stone base up to the base of the sill of the
Correct.
window.
Yeah, exactly. You see the
Okay.
sill of that kind of window collection? Exactly. So
And
the
then you
stone-
have a lower water table in between those wide pilasters.
Correct, and if
of
you look
stone.
all the way to the left, that's a stair tower. We raised the stone up around the stair tower as well to complement the pilasters.
Okay. And primarily too, that's where the parking deck is, right?
It is a parking deck, yes.
And
Brett, if you
so
keep
that-
going, and again, the program, the floor plan hasn't changed or any of that, but yeah, it's keep going. There's some aerial.
This one shows.
Yeah, there you go. That one shows it well, exactly.
Down in the stove.
So you can see the low water table, but it steps up at each one of the pilasters as well as with the stair tower.
Okay.
And we did this, yeah, and you can see the other side, the bottom elevation is the side.
Do you want me to zoom in on that at all, or
I don't think,
good with how that?
Yeah, no, I guess what's possible is that change came out of that meeting. And
It
was
did.
And was in the motion, but I can't find the minutes of that meeting, so.
Yeah, I actually have the rendering on my laptop of what we presented in March, and it looked pretty
Yeah, I
brutal.
have
I
it.
can show it to you if you want.
So what is the height of that water table?
Currently,
The March meeting.
it's around 4 feet, I believe.
Okay, so.
That's 4 feet.
What did we say about this?
I think so. Yeah, 4 to 4 feet.
It's in front, right after Shake Shack.
And as I recall, we landscaped the heck out of that.
We did.
It says that's pretty-
Yeah, and the landscape plan hasn't changed, and that's all.
So are you even gonna see that water table?
So we should approve this. yeah.
In the winter.
Yeah,
Yes.
there is no modification in the minutes, so we need to approve this as a change.
Yeah, this is, can I approach? This is what we had presented in March.
Right.
You can see how it looks a little too,
Right,
yeah, the base was a little bit too.
it's a little too
Right.
strong.
right.
But
But that,
between the pilasters, too strong, we talked about lowering it.
yeah, that's actually what was approved, so we just have to approve what you're showing us here, yeah.
Higher than 4 feet, okay.
Yeah, I think it's better the way you have
I
it.
do too.
I do too.
I don't think you'll ever see it.
Well, there's a lot of landscaping and some other,
Yeah, there was a condition to screen it, but,
I think too, we wanted to make sure we weren't seeing the cars in the parking deck as well, so that's why.
Yeah, so we raised the height of if you go to kind of continue through, you'll see, keep going. So that's, yeah, so that's
Yes,
the
yep.
other way. Go one more.
One more, this way?
Yeah, so the cars, so it's, the service shop is on the ground level, then there's a center level of cars.
Right.
There's a top level of cars. And then if you keep going, I believe we have yeah, you can continue. Keep going. Yeah, so there, you can kind of see go to the next one there.
parking garage.
So there you can see how we kind of made the exterior wall a little less opaque. So you could tell that the cars, from the ground level, from perspective, are not going to be seen over the parapet. So I think between two of the hearings last time, we actually raised the parapet of the parking deck so you wouldn't see a car.
Okay. Steve, go back to that, stay right there a minute, Brett. So the bottom rendering shows rooftop units, but there looks like there's some where the garage portion is or the service portion, they're on the ground.
They're in the back.
Oh, they're in the back.
They're all the way in the back behind the ramp.
Oh, okay, very good.
And then if you go to the other one, Brett, you can see the rooftop, one more back. Yeah, there's the rooftop units. And then again, those are in the back, so we probably should turn those off. But the red rooftop units are what are on top of the showroom.
So we're doing elevation materials and signage, I guess.
Correct. And then the last page is the signage, which,
Anybody have any?
Yes,
Oh, here you can
it's called
see
an alucobond, so it's a metal.
yeah.
It's a,
where they're located back there, so.
So the transition, either in that image you have up now, Brett, or the last one you had before that, that one worked too. The transition from the black facade, which has the Kia Julio Jones portion, it wraps the corner and just kind of stops. From what I see on both those images, and that just appears odd to me. Where are you going, Brett? There. On both sides, it just kind of stops in an odd location. And from that one, it doesn't make sense, because that's definitely a view from the right of way. It just looks strange to me. And then the other side looks strange to me too, but I don't know how much you'll really see that one.
Right.
Can you explain what's going on with those
That-
two?
Again, the retail architecture is given to us by Kia. Their whole concept is kind of motion, it's leaning forward, so they kind of slope those back edges, and they slope the glass at both of those sides too. So that was,
Well, is the black portion of that set off from the facade of the
yes,
building?
yeah. It'll stick out probably 18 inches or so.
And it's sloped?
It's the back edge is sloped. See the back angle?
Oh, it's flat to the building, you're just saying.
It's flat to the building, yeah. They just
down
have
on an angle.
glass, the angle of the storefront or the curtain wall is sloped with the same angle of the black. The black kind of slips beyond it, but it does stick out, Pat, beyond.
But you're saying, so the face of the Alucobond panels is 18 inches?
Would be proud of the brick, yeah, by about 18 inches.
I see.
Did you say Lucabond?
Alucobond, yeah.
Big word, is that the word of the day?
Wow.
Well, that's what it is, right? It's
Yeah,
Alucobond.
it is, absolutely it is.
See how that one's.
A Lucabond, right there on the back.
Yeah, there, yeah.
Just eat that up.
Yeah, so you have more, the glass goes up higher now.
The glass goes up higher
The
now.
band is smaller than it was.
Exactly.
It stopped short of the corner before, now it wraps the corner.
Correct.
So is that Lucabond panel, that whole black panel, is that lit in any manner, or just the
No.
Kia Julio Jones lit? How does all that
Yeah, so
play off?
So there's no lighting within the black panel. The way I haven't seen the signage completed yet, but the way I understand it, the way they explain it to me is it's silver in the day, but at night, the sign will glow white.
The sign alone will glow white.
Sign alone, yeah, so just the Kia logo and the word Julio Jones.
So it's backlit?
It's backlit in a way, yeah.
So, to me, I think, I agree with you, Pat. I think this side you won't see as much, but I think it almost looks a little bit.
Looks abbreviated,
Better
looks
here
looks
than
stunted.
what it does here. This one, to me, looks like they just decided.
So would you rather see that black go all the way to the wall?
I don't know, but you've got that 90-degree angle where the building meets, right?
Right.
Right above where the service entrance is. And then just forward of that, you've got that angled Lucabond panel that joins in.
I'm gonna scroll, see if there's anything.
Well, but the windows are also angled.
Yes.
Yeah, the windows
So-
are angled, so they're all kind of,
Yeah,
they're trying to,
Almost like a lightning
I
bolt.
think it would
yeah,
look,
simulate motion. Well, exactly, the
I think it would
logo
look
kind of came
hotter
from a lightning
all the
bolt.
way.
Charger fan.
Right, hey, there you go.
It gives it, I think it gives it a little bit of interest. Everything is very up and down,
Yes.
horizontal, vertical, and this kind of throws that little skew into it just on the edges there, so.
I actually like
Makes it
it.
a little more dynamic, in my opinion.
It gives it a good accent.
I mean, if the windows were straight up and down, that'd be different.
Yeah, I think then you get a different,
Yeah.
yeah. But they've taken the diagonal consistent through both materials, so.
Right.
Then can I get more look at the cornice just behind that where yeah. That cornice off of the panel along the top as it meets up with the rest of the building. Okay, so it's just the normal cornice, it looks like. There's no, well, there's an offset to it, or?
The cornice on the parking deck?
No, the cornice on the showroom where it meets the parking deck. You just had your hand over it there, Brett. Is that flat, or does it have a?
It has a little bit of an offset. I think it's like a soldier and a roll lock, and the roll lock's poking out just a little bit, to kind of give it a little bit of shadow line.
The rendering on A7 in the center of the illustration
Yeah, that's the
shows
one I
that
was-
well.
Or here.
Shows how nicely it fits together to me.
Let's look at,
Maybe.
So it could look pretty cool, just the devil's in the details, right?
Right, absolutely.
There's the,
So do you think this is the final change before they start construction?
It better be. My client thinks it better be. We need to do the drawings again, right? So,
Well, I guess you're ready to start construction, correct?
yes, yeah, we have the LDP.
Okay.
Yeah, we were just kind of waiting on this.
It does, so there is a little fenestration along with that as it hooks up with that angled panel. So, just trying to figure out the ins and outs of all that.
Just gotta look upon how it's beyond. You can see how it cantilevers a little bit beyond the glass in the front. It does the same on the side.
So, But what's that underneath look like?
It's,
Is it,
it wraps.
it does, so it's same black material as it meets the facade of the building?
Correct, yeah.
But-
The bottom panel will be an L-shaped panel. You know, it's a continuous panel that bends in an L shape before it gets to the first horizontal reveal.
The soffit.
Correct.
Credit goes to him again.
On soffit and a Luca
You're
bond.
doing
They were
well,
rolling.
What's the Luca Bond soffit? Put your words together.
Correct, yes. The glass goes from the slab to the underneath of the black Luca bond, exactly.
Looks good.
Okay, all right. Let's take a quick look at the signage then, Steve, or I guess Brett's driving this
That's right, yeah.
presentation.
Out and blind.
Okay, so looks like we've got some wall signs, wall sign or signs.
Yeah,
Okay.
so we've got the new Kia logo with the word Julio Jones right under it in the center.
And that's over the storefront area,
That's
correct?
over the storefront, over the entrance, right over the center.
All right.
And the word service is over the service reception, where where you bring your car in for service. And then we have the monument sign, that previously was the white and red, but now it's the black and silver.
Okay.
With the brick base.
And which part is lit again?
The Kia logo and the Julio Jones.
Internally lit.
Yeah, on the monument, yeah, I would assume it's internally lit on the monument too. They're still developing the sign package, but that's the way it typically is. But they just want to kind of see the logo at night and not anything else.
The monument sign is angled, wasn't it, had an angle to it at the, where it's installed? An angle to the street front, or is it parallel with street front?
I believe it's parallel to the street front. No, it's not changed from last time. I believe it's parallel to the street front.
Let's see what we
See
do.
if Brett can bring it up or not.
Is it got an angle? Okay.
And do we have some base plantings around it? I guess we don't know what the landscape looks like.
That was in the landscape plan.
Some base planting?
You're
was?
right, Richard, it does show it at a slight angle on 870.
Okay.
Yeah, it does have an angle towards the intersection.
Let me share an observation about this sign. As we typically look for dressing up the base of a sign, we don't need to do that in every case because of the simplicity of the way Kia is presenting this whole composition. I think it works nicely to have that sign monument in the turf, if in fact that's what it is, because in A7 it shows it looking like that. I don't have an objection to leaving it as a monument standing there in the grass.
Is that what the landscape plan shows, Brett? Or I guess that would be back in the March application.
I don't have that on my laptop.
Did you pull up March?
Trying to find it.
It's towards the end of the package.
And Richard, I agree with you, unless all of a sudden that
That's the
becomes
next- that's the
the
next
area
time
where
we'll
we're weed whacking it, sends clippings, and then it gets dirty and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, that's the
depending on the color of it.
applicant, so
It could be set in a bed of ground cover that fits within the overall space so that it's still something low without being grass. You're right, Pat. We don't want,
must be in the beginning.
I don't know why I would want open porch.
Is that the land? Yeah, the landscaping plan there? I don't think that's officially landscaping.
Okay, any other signage comments? So we've got two motions to approve the exterior elevations and materials, and then the signage as well.
Mr. Chairman, for item DRB 220002 for Julio Jones Kia, I move that we approve the exterior elevation materials as we've discussed them and as they've been presented this morning.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Owens, a second by Ms. Rhodes. Congratulations. And before I take a vote, are there, in the discussion, are there any public comments about this application? Any public comments? All right, there being none. All right, we can further have discussion. Any comments, questions about the motion on the floor? There be none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All opposed, no opposition. Motion passes 7-0. All right, one down, one to go.
Mr. Chairman, DRB 220002, Julio Jones Kia. I make a motion that we approve signage as presented today. Into motion.
Second.
Okay, motion by Ms. Palmer, a second by Ms. Rocco. Comments, questions about the motion? There being none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All opposed, no opposition. Motion passes 7-0. All right, thank you for your time this morning.
Appreciate your time, you guys. Have a
Appreciate
good
it.
day.
All right. Okay. Before we, let's see, our next applicant is Midgard Self-Storage. Why don't you come on down, get set up? We'll take a 5-minute recess. Okay? 50, recess. Okay.
Yeah, next month, we'll probably have you bring like your negatives from your. Get a little projector. I think just upload that as part of the title page on your E-plan. That way those guys see it, since you're gonna do a new E-plan anyways. Yep.
How you been? Good. How you been? Happy New Year.
New Year to you.
Yeah. Only halfway through January.
Crazy.
2/3.
So fast.
Where's that Kia dealership going?
Right beside Westside Storage at Westside and Old Roswell.
Down just north of Mansell Road there. At the kind of the bottom there.
On the way to Topgolf.
Yep, so you got Bentley, then you're gonna have a little bit of woods where the creek comes through there, and then you'll have
Stand up and stretch your legs, Teresa, for a minute, then you can.
one more lot in there that's developable. We have this, back into the sectors. Right. Yeah, it's got a lot of topo on the backside, so it really works for, it really works for something that requires some sort of deck. High deck in the back of it. Yeah. So, years ago, they were gonna do a bridge, and they did they call it non-vehicular, but it's totally called that because it's not public, to drive over. If you go up behind the QT on Mansell, that you should go over the hump and then go right straight across and get to Westside. Oh, wow. Yeah. So, that's a possibility, probably, if somebody wanted to put money in that bridge to develop the whole thing themselves. But the city decided to abandon that bridge just as it wasn't really, it's so close to open traffic like anyway. And then they started on, the drive part, that's gonna go, that would be pretty big for, although, I hope they do something with the intersection down at Mansell, because even just the same screws that intersection up. If you get the beach to top wall, Sanctuary Park, cut across, coming that way. But
Okay, let's end our recess and get going again. All right, our next applicant is Midgard Storage. Good morning, welcome. If you'll introduce yourselves, speak into the microphone, and give us an overview, please.
All right. Brett's pulling up. I'm Steve Rowe with AEC 50 Warm Spring Circle. This is Robin Schock with Swinnerton Contractors. She's going to be going through the architecture. I'll be going through the site and landscape. We're going to defer the signage till another time. We're still working through those issues. So, how's he's bringing this up? Our site is located at the southeast corner of Old Milton Parkway and George 400. It's just below the existing senior development Inspired Living that's up on the hill, and it will be accessed through the traffic signal that is by the Waffle House, if you're familiar with that area. There'll be no direct access into the site from...
I threw you a curveball here, Steve. This is from our GIS.
Okay.
Works a little bit easier.
Okay.
Give them a good
Overview?
Good overview.
Yeah, that's perfect.
So here's the Waffle House.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna sit about right here, correct, Steve?
It's about the only area of that site that's not in floodplain. So we are surrounded by floodplain on the site on several fronts. Yeah, between floodplain, stream buffers, and George 400 buffers, this was a difficult site to develop, and we've been at it for 4 years now. 4 years, so. And we still have some flood studies and some other things to do as we go forward. So we're just now starting the road. We've finished probably half the hurdle race, and we still have half to go. But this gives you the context as to where the site is. You want to switch for me, Brett? Sorry. Here's the site. As you see, is the road on the right-hand side of the page is coming in from Waffle House, and then you're going to take another right, and that'll bring you across the area. We're tucking it as close to the slope along 400 as we can, and we're going to have to extend the box culvert front that's coming under Old Milton Parkway to be able to get across, to be able to get to the high and dry land that is across there.
So that's where the hand is right now?
That's where the hand is, yes. Yeah, there's an existing box culvert that comes under Old Milton, and we're gonna extend it across to be able to get our access across. We're going to try to do that with as light of a footprint as we can. Just to give you context, Old Milton Parkway is sitting about 15 to 18 feet higher than we are as we're coming across. So the road's going to be substantially below the elevation. Right now, along that slope, if you drive by there, you can only see it from the what they call the hot lane coming off 400 that has the median, so that you can't switch over too soon. And that's our entire frontage would be behind that median that's there. So that's why we have to access from the signal at Waffle House. As you get into the site, we've placed the building in a location that fits on the existing high ground. You'll be able to drive under the building, at least under the second and third story. The first floor will be tucked back, and we'll have 14 feet clear so the fire trucks can get through there if ever need be. And we have 360-degree access around the building itself. To the right of that, in the impervious setback, we have set our water quality pond. Because we're along a very major creek, we're able to exempt our detention, but we're still going to be handling water quality and runoff reduction, stream channel protection. So we'll be doing some level of stormwater management, and we work with Jill Bazinet already on some of those issues in the conceptual plans.
And Jill's with the city of Alpharetta, by the way.
Sorry. Next slide, Brett, please. This just gives you a quick sight line that we just drew a quick cross-section just to give you an idea of where we are in relation to the off-ramp at about the middle point of the building. So we're still, a good 20 feet below the off-ramp location as you're coming up. And then that is the 60-foot undisturbed buffer that'll be maintained along Georgia 400 on-ramp coming up to Old Milton. And what I've done is I've kind of ghosted in the rooftop units that were proposed behind the parapet that are sitting on the roof itself. So you'll be able to, they'll be well screened from any right of way as we go forward.
Steve?
Yes, sir.
Does GDOT, do they need to keep that buffer in its full width, or can they encroach into it to do whatever they want to do?
I think Georgia DOT can probably do what they want.
I'm not aware of it. If the highway widens, if that off-ramp widens, they can do whatever they want to in that buffer or not, right?
Yeah, pretty much. They'd have to go through the same process. They'd have to probably acquire the right of way from us, either through condemnation or sale, and go through the process, but.
And real quick.
Well, while you're on the right of way, so Brett, where is in this? Where's the right of way? Can you just It may be. Just trying to figure out how close the building is to where the right of way is, if that makes sense.
So their property line is here, and
Okay.
their property line is the 60-foot buffer, right?
Right.
Steve, you have a 60-foot
Correct,
buffer?
60-foot buffer.
So it's,
Okay.
And then we have probably another 10 to 15 feet to the front edge of our building from that point, varying wherever it relates.
Okay. Very good.
Just wanted to point out, there are a few small retaining walls on the site. We've got a short retaining wall on the south side that keeps us off of the floodplain and the buffer line. And then as you're coming in along the road, there's also another modular block retaining wall we'll be building to be able to get the road across and hold up that slope.
So they're made of modular block then?
Yeah, and it's going to be, there'll be the gray, you'll see, we've used the gray color modular block to match the building because the building has very, very gray tones.
So from which direction will you see the modular block?
The modular block will be seen along Old Milton from the building. It will not be seen from the right of way.
Okay.
And then this building, this other block or this wall on the backside will be seen from the creek and not from right of way. Everything is kind of internally focused on this site, given the way the elevations work.
Okay.
So, and getting back to the siting of this, your building, how does that building sit in relation to the facility next to it? In other words, because I drove it yesterday, day before, whenever it was, and now is the time here you can see through the buffer and you can see the facility next door.
Right.
No view is static when you're going along 400, so you're not going to stand there and see everything, but you see it as you drive by. Where's your building in relation to that one as far as frontage and
It is
proximity
closer
to 400?
It's closer to 400, but it's closer to the on-ramp. It's not to the travel lane. So it's harder to see as you're going down the travel lanes because the on-ramp comes up and kind of screens your view of this site.
Okay.
So you'll see it from the off-ramp more or less. With relation to the existing building, I would say it's somewhere about 70 to 75 feet in elevation lower. It's sitting a lot lower than, because if you notice that building is perched up and you can kind of see it as more prominent of a location. This is much more hidden just by grade itself. This was a very strange development in that based upon where the buffers were, where this floodplain was, where the stream buffers were, I actually laid out the buildable area for the architect, and the architect had to custom design the building to fit the site.
I mean,
It's a first for me.
What the development costs are for this thing. They must have high rents for whatever you're putting in there.
So, I think you can go 2 slides.
Thanks, Steve.
Sure. And then this is just the Belgard modular block we're proposing for the normal gray. Someone took my gray piece out of my office and never returned it, so apologize. But it's the same gray that I've brought here 100 times. Here's the landscape, or the mainly grading plan that kind of shows you the impacts to the existing trees. We're trying to preserve as many trees as we can. The only trees we're taking out are the ones that are directly in our way as we have to get access to the site and where the thing is. But I would say that 70 to 75% of the site is going to be maintained undisturbed just because it's in floodplain, it's in stream buffer. So we're having as light of a footprint as we can with keeping the building in place.
No stream buffer mitigation or anything like that?
We are not, we've been able to do everything with perpendicular crossings and not have to get into any Army Corps of Engineers permitting, thank God.
Always fun.
Here's the tree plan. What we're doing is we're trying to accent the main road coming in. We've put up on the upper right-hand side, you'll see a list or a cluster of magnolias to help screen that road as you're coming around. That's where the old roadbed comes through, where Marsh Road used to pop out of Old Milton. So that's one of the areas that doesn't have any existing trees. So we're trying to accent that, or not accent, but help screen further. As you come to the west from that location, there is a significant amount, if you've driven it, of volunteer pines that are there that are currently screening a lot of what's going on behind that. The street trees we're using are red maples, willow oaks, and Princeton elms coming through, and then we're planting all the way down the slope to help stabilize that slope as you get around the road. When you get more into the site proper, we're trying to use very low maintenance, very easy to maintain plant material. It's got compacta hollies, Nellie Stevens to create just some corner accents, and then hedging. We've got some abelias for accents. We've got some basket European hornbeams for some vertical elements to help screen, not screen, but kind of cut up the building, the long linear piece of the building as you come around the backside. And then as you get into the water quality device or the water quality pond, we've got more river birch, sycamores, and bald cypress as more wetland plantings to help accent that natural piece. The idea is that would become something as part of the wetland and kind of go away visually as part of the actual development.
Will that area stay wet most of the time, or is it?
We haven't done the level of studies. My suspicion is it'll stay damp. I'm not sure it'll have a wet pond. Again, if we have a high groundwater, it could.
Okay.
It'll still function as we intend it to with that piece of it.
And what's the depth between, I guess, the roadway and the lower part of that?
The lower part of the pond itself will probably be somewhere between 3 and 4 feet deep.
Okay, so it's
Not very deep. We're trying to keep it more shallow.
Okay.
Anything that we would do, we would put in like improved soil underneath as a bioretention so that a lot of the stuff happens below grade that you don't see. That would just fill up in the heavier, 25 to 100-year storms.
Okay, and then do you have any kind of outlets or are there any kind of structures?
There'll be an outlet control structure for that, but we haven't got that designed yet.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Steve, you've got 1/3 of an acre that you're going to be hydroseeding with a wetland mix. Do you know what's in that mix?
Right now, we've had most success with some of the bulrush. I hate to use cattails because they just go crazy, but they do a good job of establishing and keeping things tight. The cardinal flowers have been real successful for us in the past, and the swamp sunflowers have been real good.
Wonderful.
Steve?
Yes, sir.
That existing road, what'd you call it, Marsh Road?
Morris.
Morris.
That is part of Morris?
Yes.
So, are you guys going to be demoing that portion and replanting that at all, or does it stay in place?
It's actually off our property.
It is. Whose property is that?
I think there's an office parcel just to the northeast of ours, and I'm not sure who the current owner is. It's right next to the Waffle House.
Okay. So, all right, then the tree species you selected along the roadway, they're the north side of existing forest. Has that all been selected? And I'm looking at the drawing, I'm trying to figure out what's what here.
Yeah.
But has all that been selected for shade tolerance?
They're on the
north side of the forest.
North side of the forest, but there's going to be a clearing that goes back a little bit to it. We can look at that. The challenge is I've got so many number of overstory trees that I've got to put in. But if I have shade tolerant, they become more understory, and then I get into a conundrum with the code. So.
But have you reviewed that with David to?
Not specifically, no.
I just would encourage that because he'll work with you on that sort of stuff in overstory. You might have to shift some overstory somewhere else versus street trees and all that along there.
I'm just limited on areas that are more open where I'm used to planting.
I mean, you're heavily planted. I'm assuming you're heavily planted along there to hit your density?
Correct. And there are some recompense because some of the recompense tree or some of the specimen trees are in our high and dry area, unfortunately.
So I see the grading as it goes down there, and I'm assuming the grades are going down to the creek side.
That's correct.
So,
and again, that can change based upon the flood study, so we've got to look at that too.
I'm just not quite sure of survivability of those trees based on shade.
We can look at that.
I think David would work with you on those things,
Okay.
And I encourage you to work with David.
No, I'm happy to do that.
Steve, I have another tree question, if I may.
Yes, sir.
You've got a narrow space between the building and 400, and you're showing some columnar horn beams in there.
Yes.
Do you have a restriction that leads you to need to use that columnar type of tree?
It's just, again, it's just given the space between the building itself and the existing tree line. I was trying to get something in there that would work with it
Okay.
best as possible.
I asked that because
Yeah.
too often we use columnar trees out the yin-yang when we don't really need to.
Right.
But I understand that condition.
Yeah. But that's really it for that location.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out if there's areas where this building can be too well seen through the buffer, that kind of thing, so.
Right. Well, and again, and I realize this time of year, it gives you the best view of what's going on there. We're happy to, look at that on a case-by-case basis as we go through and get developed to put in and augment, maybe some seedling magnolias or something in there that would maybe do a better job of screening year-round.
Almost like a reforestation.
Yeah, and I've worked with David on other sites like that before in years past where we'll walk it once everything's cleared and then start plugging in plants where they make sense.
Is that something we can condition?
I think you can condition that meeting with the city arborist and then to follow his recommendation. And then if they don't want to follow his recommendation, then the course would come back
Right.
to you guys.
Because I really want to condition those trees on the north side forest station along that road.
Right.
That, if we have to eliminate some of the overstory requirements in order to plant understory shade things that will survive, then I'd rather go that route than, strict by the true line of the code because of the code.
Yeah, you can also, condition that, you or Mr. Owens or both, since you're two the landscape architects, if, you could condition that meeting to include you guys if you wanted that, or you could leave it to staff.
You don't want to get out in the swamp with me?
I did my site visit already at 65.
But no, you absolutely could condition it to the staff meeting, and then David will develop what he thinks.
Okay.
And it could be in consultation with the two of you.
Yeah.
And then if Steve thinks that's not gonna work, then we come back.
I mean, I got full confidence that staff and applicant can work those things out. But as you know, the ordinance doesn't take into a lot of the stuff. But you're just trying to cram stuff in there just to hit code. Does it make sense one way or the other? That's what.
Brett, can you show us where on the site plan that Pat's referring to, just so everybody's on same?
Yeah, right along that actual whole
No,
frontage.
I thought it was.
That's the buffer. If you go back out there and see if there's areas in the buffer that need to be filled in.
Zoom, if you can
Bigger
zoom
concern
out.
is further north of this, along the entrance road, there where there's,
And that's
south side
your-
of that road, where all those trees are in on that.
The south side there, okay.
slopes.
That's your volunteer pine area, really, for the most
Yeah.
part.
So where the hand is now, that's what you're referring to, Pat, as
Yeah,
being.
so you've got all this forestation and it's north facing, so it's on the north side of all those.
And it's downslope.
Yeah, and it's down.
So it's getting a lot of shade, is what
Right.
you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, makes sense.
My concern is the survivability of that. And that's a lot of trees, but I get it, you gotta do density.
It's a numbers
You gotta
game.
hold that slope.
Yeah, yep. And that,
Would it be better to, and is it even possible to establish a street tree program out here, along Old Milton? With a street tree and shrub combination?
the challenge with the street trees along Old Milton, and you'll see, we've done some very, we met the code on the planting of that, but my slope starts at the guardrail, and I've got power lines above. So there's really not a lot of opportunity for street trees. So I've done, dwarf Burford hollies with some miscanthus grass to give some motion as you're coming off of there, and then some ruby fringe flower behind that. But as, for every foot I go this way, I'm going, down almost the same. So I'm losing my slope very quickly.
I want to move on real quick. Back to the walls.
Yes,
There's a condition here on walls
yes.
that there shall be brick to match the building, walls facing Old Milton or Georgia 400. Have you met that condition?
We don't have any of that. We don't have walls that
All
are
on the
facing,
south
everything's facing us, yeah.
Okay. All right, moving on.
Okay.
I'll try and be quiet.
The dotted line that runs along the outside, I guess is that the right-of-way line?
Yes, that's the right-of-way
Yeah.
line, correct.
And between that and, like where you've got the shrubs planted behind the building and along the road, that's all heavily wooded all through there, right?
I have some photos. I mean, it's really hard to see where they are, but I have some photos.
Because what I'm trying to think through is if DOT should do something, they could take the trees down up to that dotted line, right, not beyond.
Yeah, I think that's the better thing, is that everything that's out here
Could potentially.
Come down.
would go away.
Right,
But
so-
that's mainly pines and.
Yeah, so the question is there enough between the dotted line and the building for the screening that's required, right?
And that area could also be a DOT issue. They would just have to purchase that.
Right.
They'd have to purchase it, right?
Purchase the concrete
And
in
down.
that area, but they could, everything from the ramp, which is currently right here, this, they could do whatever they wanted without anything.
Right. But you can see how the downslope, I mean, we're losing almost 20 feet, and the higher up I get, the further down it comes. So, you know, I'm probably 20 feet here, I'm almost 35 up at the top, down below us.
Probably when it was really hard to exactly tell too where things are, but what I thought, and David and I, this point right here is about, you're just really into the ramp, but the lanes haven't started yet. That's the lowest spot.
Right, correct.
And there's the creek
goes up,
and a drainage and stuff, so that's probably the only spot that if they would remove more, you'd really get a good shot at this building. But at that point, Steve, so say from here, what do you think, the lines are too small for me to read, what do you think the FFE on the building here kind of compared?
I'm still below, but I'm probably more like 10 feet below there, not the 20 in other locations. Again, I picked the middle of the building where my section line, just, you know, it's not the worst, it's not the best, it's just kind of the middle.
I'm trying to think through the scenario of if DOT should do something, those trees go away, is there enough screening on the 400 side?
Right.
Because you're going to be pretty close to, I mean, it's
Yeah,
not
there's,
that far from the ramp.
there's a good bit of room between the actual ramp location and the right-of-way. There's still probably 40 or 50 feet before we get to to the actual property line. Yeah, that's a good
This is
representation.
about that spot. So the building's gonna be sitting right back in here. So you've got about, let's say, 60 feet from edge to that first 60 feet and then back. So it's gonna be back in there a little bit.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the planting along in that area behind the building. I don't know what those plants are. Are those, they look like they're smaller shrubs.
They are, I mean, that's one of those situations, if I needed to change like Richard was saying, the columnar trees to more of an evergreen columnar shrub, I think that's a fair trade. I'd be happy to do that, because again, there's also that might help screen that lower level of the building that's gonna be open to vehicular traffic, so.
Like a American holly or?
I like the American hollies personally. They look a little bit more natural and get a little bit more funky, but it would work well being butted up against that, and we know they would do well in the shade.
That's a great description of how elegant that tree is.
Yeah,
So that would be from the corner?
yeah. Or from the corner, maybe the corner of the building itself. Again, I've got a little bit more room against the parking, what I can do, because I'm not butt up against the building, because what this isn't showing, my building actually comes out to the edge of that dashed line. So where I've got more room south of that building, but in that little section between the buildings, I know you can't see it, it's hard to say, but I'm working with a very narrow area. You know, 15 feet is probably the most, and 10 feet is probably the average. But I could fit in some you know, Carolina hollies or American hollies in there without too much trouble. And they would do a good job of screening and help transition between the built environment and the natural environment of the buffer itself. And they'd be a long-term solution for the screening issue.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's from the corner of the back of the property all the way through where you've got those plantings
And I've
there,
got-
that's
and-
kind of where you'd have the view to the building coming up there.
In the southern level of the building, I've got a lot of the magnolias there, so that's doing a good job of screening the building from that south-looking north view. As you turn the corner, I've got, there are more wax leaf ligustrums and things like that because of the narrowness. But again, if I needed to go with I call it a larger shrub or small tree that's evergreen, I can work with that. And again, if I had to sneak into the buffer a little bit to plant a screen tree, I don't think David's going to have an objection to that. So, especially if we're talking about going in and enhancing the buffer itself.
I agree.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, I'm not super really concerned with that view through there, because there's no static view along there.
No, you're correct. And I mean, we say a 55-mile-an-hour road, it's a 70-mile-an-hour road.
So I'm not really super concerned about it.
It's an exit ramp. It probably won't be over 70.
Yeah. We hope.
I don't know. Sometimes.
But the concern is if that ramp gets wider.
Yeah, and we can't predict GDOT, who can, you know?
But if you can supplement there close to where Frank was talking about, then.
Yeah, because with the trees that are there now, it'd be probably not much of a problem, but if that should go away, then you're not gonna have a whole lot of screening left, right?
Right.
Especially since the bottom of those trees is
Well,
kinda,
yeah.
the branches are gone, right?
Yeah. They're more mature. They're getting more.
What's the survivability and stuff? What's the potential of this planting here that's gonna be basically flat up against that buffer and stuff? Is that plant material gonna be good in shade if it stays as is? I mean, that's, you know.
What is the material?
Right now, I've got horn beams that are like right up against the building, trying to help screen that, or not screen it, but accent the verticality. But as you go south of that, I've got wax leaf ligustrum, which will do well in the shade. I've got the magnolias, which will do well in the shade.
Which magnolia? What do you have? What kind of magnolia?
Little gems.
Can we switch that to like a Sweet Bay or something like that?
Sweet bays are awful loose, though. Would we, maybe like a Sim Select, it gets a little bigger, or Bracken Brown?
It's just something that's gotta take the shade.
Yeah. But along that edge, we try to put in the wax leaf ligustrum, which can get 12, 15 feet without, too much trouble.
Yeah. The grasses, I don't know. I mean, fringe flower maybe.
Yeah.
I mean,
Let's try.
it's gonna get a little bit of morning sun.
Right.
And pretty much
Yeah.
noon on, it's gonna be shade.
But I thought the discussion we just had said going around that corner now, we're gonna change that to something that's more screening.
Yeah, and that's what I'm hearing too.
Anything on those edges, I think, just needs, full sun throughout full sun, because it's not gonna work. Your grasses and that sort of stuff, and just, I get it, what you wanna do from interior.
Right.
I mean, and there's a lot of stuff getting in those planting islands, that's up to you guys, but the exterior stuff, to Brett's point, it just needs to be shade tolerant, bulletproof planting. You've got some of it, but.
Yeah. And we're also trying to keep the turf to a minimum, knowing that the maintenance on that's not gonna be great, so.
Right, so,
Trying to.
if I wouldn't sweat the details of true form of those plants, in my opinion, you want that stuff exterior wise to be more naturalizing anyway.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely agree. No, we can make some modifications that way.
The variety of selection that you have in those zones is commendable, because too many people would not have had such a creative plant list for that kind of area.
Again, I know this is a controversial site plan, and trying to make it look as good as you can when you're in there was my thought, so, thank you.
And I gotta commend you on the Buckeye.
Bottle brush Buckeye?
Oh, come on.
You're not an Ohio State guy. Okay. They're actually great. They're actually great large shrubs, and they're very colorful.
Be the first Buckeye I've seen.
Your first one. Your first one.
Saw that, I'm like, hey, David, look at that.
Is that true of the Aeschylus too?
Huh?
Aeschylus is?
Yeah, they are. It's a bottle brush Buckeye, yeah. And they actually do well.
Bottle brush.
But they don't have the fruit. They're just for show.
They don't have the worthless nuts?
Nope.
Jeez. Steve, going back to Pat's original question about putting brick on any retaining walls, which you don't have to do.
Right.
The other part of that council condition was retaining walls exceeding 16 feet in height shall be terraced. Are there any retaining walls?
We have nothing that big.
Okay, so, all right, I'm just trying to check off some of
Yeah,
these
no,
conditions.
I appreciate the question, but no, I think 6 was our largest.
Okay, all right.
Currently, I mean, again, if we get into a situation where because of the flood study, I gotta make modifications, then I guess I'll see you later.
All right, anything else on the landscaping at this point? Okay, well, let's jump over to the building then.
Okay,
please.
I'm gonna turn it over to Robin because she's
All right.
the person that understands that a lot better than I do.
All right, Robin, you'll have to tell Brett where to drive to next on the screen,
Sure.
monitors.
Do you have what material I'll start with, or?
Now, let's just start, give us an overview of the exterior elevations, and then if you've got some material samples there, you can hold those up or display those as you talk about them.
Yeah, so the very gray neutral to go with the surrounding area. We have two EFIS colors, storefront frame, and then painted brick. Should be this. You'll have to excuse me, this is my first time ever doing this, so if you want me to get more specific.
Why don't you
just
start
let
with
me know.
with the elevation we're looking at right now, kind of work from bottom to top and just describe to us what the materials are and maybe.
And where does this face before we get started? This is facing 400?
That's
Which way
facing, this is the Georgia 400.
This is the
frontage.
Georgia 400 side.
And obviously, the architect has removed the buffer trees.
buffer tree.
To see the building.
Okay. It makes it easier, right?
So, starting at the bottom with the darker EFIS color, is this one here. Would you like me to approach and give it?
No, that's right. Or Steve can hold it up, or you can
Okay.
pass it around. All right.
And the faux roll-up doors would be this blue color, right here.
And those are tucked underneath that overhang.
Yes, correct.
They're tucked underneath.
Is there a good view that's gonna show that? How that, I guess it's here, right?
That's
Yes.
correct, yes.
I don't know.
And that distance
Yeah,
is
doesn't make-
all along that side, that same depth that's shown here?
Yes, yes, it's 14 feet clear, and
So-
I believe it's
so
30 feet wide.
From here where the hand is, up, is 14-foot proud of this lower level.
Correct.
Everybody got that? So this whole end of the building is
Just-
cantilevered
yeah.
over the road.
Correct.
Correct.
Yep. To be able to get
Be able to
access for the fire
360
truck.
degree access for the fire truck.
It's clever that you put the fire truck in the rendering.
And where are the yellow pipe bollards so you don't take out the columns?
Held up.
Fire truck doesn't take out.
Yeah.
Let's hope the fire truck is never down there.
Right, yeah.
Oh, it'll be there once a year.
So this is a storage facility, somebody can come in with the U-Haul and
Yes.
dropping off stuff and all that, so you got yahoos driving big trucks. And do you have a headache bar somewhere that
Are you referring to me as a?
you,
We currently haven't proposed a headache bar, but that's not a bad idea to put in.
Yeah, I think you're
Yeah,
gonna need something there.
Somebody gonna take that out.
Yep.
Show that.
It won't,
So right here is where the road is coming in, basically?
Correct.
Right?
Yep.
Right in here, comes in here and they'll go around, then it'll 360 circulation, but
Can we finish the colors?
yeah, sorry.
Yes. Yep. Should I bring them all you brought?
I can.
Yeah, that'd be great, thanks.
And you say faux roll-up doors?
So
Why
this
do we
is-
put it, why do you have faux doors going in?
So I guess just for the look,
Mullions, and then that's the painted.
I'm definitely not married to it, but
I mean, we generally go out of our way to make storage facilities not look like
Well-
Not
storage
look like a
facilities.
well, and that's one of the conditions. It's gotta be, it needs to appear as an office building.
And it's like those faux roll-up doors, you went out of your way to make it look like a storage building, and we like to see it go the other way, not look like a storage
Yes.
building.
And it shall be substantially brick on 3 sides.
correct.
So you're, all right.
And
So,
the paint sample, that's what color the brick will be.
so in this,
bottom to top.
Yes.
And not necessarily talk
Yep.
colors, but or colors and materials. So you've got, what's this lower level material
So,
here?
can we go to these elevations, Brett, that actually have the call-outs?
One more, there you go.
No, one more.
It's just not as.
A300.
Yeah, A300, that's A300 there.
All right.
So small.
Looks very different than yours,
Same one,
but it looks different.
yeah,
It's just the way the computer's reading it. That's why I was going to the other view, because this
Oh.
one is
yeah.
really
Yeah.
hard to.
I think you're right, Fred.
Hard to see what's going on.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
All right, start from bottom to top
Okay,
again.
so starting from the bottom, so the columns that you see will be masonry.
Brick,
Yes,
painted.
correct,
The,
This color,
correct.
I'll be the.
okay, you'll be the Vanna. All right. Okay,
And that darker gray color that you see throughout is all of that same, it's actually the same the brick, the painted
Oh, the
brick.
brick.
Yes, yep.
okay, all right.
Can you hold that up again? Just kidding.
Rich, now it's down to the end.
So that's the darker, but it actually looks lighter. It's actually the lightest,
They're all quite light.
or they're all quite light. There's not a whole lot of,
Yeah, if you pass it back, I'll show you.
It's pretty, it is the,
It is darker.
yeah, it is, I guess, yeah.
or you take it out of the sleeve, or take it out of the, I'm sorry,
Yeah, the reflectivity's making it a little tough.
there we go.
Can you hold it up with the other ones too? I'm actually,
Havana.
Jeez.
I charge for this.
all right.
So that, those two, yeah.
Yeah, they're really
They're
close,
very
yeah.
close.
Okay, so we got the darkest color is the gray painted brick. All right, how about the next gray color?
And then that would be the darker of the ephes.
So that's ephes then, no?
Wait, I think your hand is in
The wrong place.
the wrong place.
It's,
Oh, sorry.
You're looking for the next horizontal band of
yes,
gray.
that,
one might
that,
be
that.
so
That
that's
Oh,
ephes.
that's this.
The,
Yes.
Okay, so it is almost the same color.
That's that, it is very close.
On the top.
okay, and then you've got, all right, the top, what's that?
That's ephes color one.
Yeah, that's that.
Yeah.
So that's the lighter ephes, okay?
Percent on the,
It's brick to here,
yeah,
then ephes up,
right.
that
With,
right?
It's actually brick all the way.
All the way to here?
Correct, yep.
we're using the
Other
ephes
than,
as accents.
other than the corners?
Yep.
Those insets on the side of the building, the lighter color,
Those little white squares.
yes.
Yeah, there you go.
That's ephes, okay.
So is that bottom portion and then that top portion, they're the same color? Because they're both brick?
Yes.
They're both brick, but you said it was a different color, the lighter.
It's
Yeah,
the,
Are
it's
you
the
painting
next,
the brick a different color, or is the brick all the same?
So it's all the same.
Okay.
It is shown on this drawing though as there's two brick colors. I'm actually the general contractor.
So is it this, everything's gonna be this color, or are there two different colors?
So the samples that I received from the architect, she would like everything to be that same color.
There are two
Okay.
colors here.
yes.
Yes.
There we go.
Thank you.
This is the lower, and this is the higher?
Yes, correct.
Okay, guys, that
Okay.
changed a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, now we're getting there.
So,
So then the smaller samples, where do those come into play?
Those are
Because
ephes.
that's ephes.
so that's the banding?
Yep.
Yes,
So that's, can you point on there which banding the
The
lighter
up,
one
the
is?
upper,
yes.
Upper?
like the parapets and the cornice.
And then down by the garage doors is this, the fake garage doors?
Yes.
So that's ephes underneath by the faux doors? Or is that brick?
The
So
ephes,
you're gonna get to the,
the inset panels
Yep.
here, and
It's-
then this. So
It's really just the inset panels, and then there's some accents in the middle of the buildings that you'll see. That's the darker ephes.
I mean, I think the colors
Yes.
go.
here.
Yep,
That's the
yep,
darker.
that's the darker that you
Yeah.
can kind of see.
Okay.
Yeah, Brett, where your hand is, and then the lighter's above that.
Yep, the
But
top.
the majority of the building is the brick.
Is brick, yeah, okay. So it's just those insets and
Yeah.
kind of the verticals like that.
So the blue is blue painted brick?
Yeah, yes, and then that's the.
what?
Gotta go.
I'm not doing that.
The blue?
So which one would we propose?
I ain't gonna do it.
Go away, right?
Wait, the blue is faux roll-up doors, right?
Correct.
But it's painted brick. They're just painted blue, they're just.
To look like doors.
It says roll-up door, doesn't say brick.
Well, it's a faux roll-up door.
Oh, yes.
I think it's a door, but it's not operable.
Correct.
Oh,
So-
it's a door, but
Yes.
not operable.
Yeah.
Correct.
So,
I just took it as the image was to represent doors, not that it really was a door.
And it actually says, doesn't say it's brick on here. So
I can't,
I just thought when it said faux door that it was not a door.
so if they're not using them essentially they could
Correct.
just go away and be part of the building.
'Cause
Yes.
I'm not-
Yeah, because you
Those
would
need to
access
go
your
away.
unit from the interior
Yeah.
of the building, so that's, yep. So they'll have their own door inside, so you would not, those would remain shut or
But
could go
keep
away.
this all around that,
No, that's masonry,
that is masonry,
Yes.
so they could continue that on as just masonry.
yes.
If we wanted to break up that long space, we could rusticate it a little bit just by insetting
Correct.
an opening.
Adding the
Yes.
shadow line of the brick.
Yeah, it needs to be broken up,
Yep.
for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then what's this?
That's the storefront frame,
For the mullions for the windows.
yes.
So if somebody's bringing their materials to store into this facility, they're going to drive into this overhang area, right? And park their,
They could, or there's other access points around the building that if it's, let's say, a 16-foot truck, because we don't want to get,
right?
yeah, they can access it from a different door.
Yes.
Because I'm just trying to look at one of the conditions is loading, unloading areas shall not be visible from Georgia 400 or Old Milton Parkway, and shall be heavily screened. So if somebody parks a U-Haul truck here, I guess if you're scooting down the exit ramp, you can,
Right. Well, and again, you're under the cover, you've got a 20-foot grade change, and then now we're gonna add the hollies in
Okay.
front. I'm not sure you really will see it,
okay,
but I understand your concern. And I think we can work through that.
all right, very good.
So as a suggestion for those faux roll-up doors, just for consideration, perhaps you have inset brick sections, maybe in the lighter color to break it, lighter brick color to break it up, and maybe line them up
With the-
with the stucco,
Yeah.
with the ephes sections above, so it just sort of creates these vertical
Yes.
elements. Right?
So it looks more office-like.
More off, right, exactly.
I think that's similar to what Richard suggested.
Yeah. I think that's a
I think
great
that's a
idea.
consensus that the door's gotta go.
Yeah.
What's the idea of leaving the cantilever area all open? I mean, I understand you need to drive under there to have circulation, but why not have a wall on the outside?
And you're not
Just
supposed to.
actually-
Yeah, bring that outside wall
None of them are visible.
all the way to the ground.
It could, the only not danger, the only thing I don't like about that, it creates that cavern feeling as I'm in there, almost like a tunnel. At least this way I've got air movement and,
Yeah, I mean, I understand the feeling in there, but I'm a little bit concerned about the condition of the loading being visible from Georgia 400 without having, because this is also the spot where on the landscape plan, we're like,
yeah.
might not be fully screened because of the way the lot pinches right there.
We have a short wall section in front of the actual entry door.
What if you did in those bay areas, maybe something to put some vines and a screen or a trellis or something there to try to put some
That's a good idea.
vines or,
Metal trellis with,
You're talking about something on the outside of the loading area,
So,
too.
yeah, so
Yes.
what I was thinking.
in line with the
What she
In line with the
collected.
top.
Yeah, this part of the building is, what'd you say, 14 feet out?
no, it's 14 feet high.
It's 30 feet
Deep.
of inset for the drywall, but it's 14 feet clear.
Okay, so,
14 feet
so
tall.
this up here is 30, this is 30 feet back.
Back,
Yeah.
right?
This wall, for me, I'm thinking to screen this, because this is gonna be a loading area. There's no doubt about it.
Well, that's what,
If there's inclement weather at all, they're gonna park and load right
I
there.
guess you're getting ready to go.
So I think we need to screen that.
Like Chick-fil-A did.
Okay.
That were on the outside wall, their
Something,
drive-through,
yeah, on
you know?
this outside right here, I think at least, my thought is like somewhere here to here, this needs to be screened.
But you're talking about attached to the overhang. Is that what
In
you're-
line with the second, third floor
Basically,
face of the wall. but
Basically,
do
a
something-
screen wall of some kind.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Pat and Richard, could that be planted with something and survive?
I wouldn't rely on just planting.
How much of the existing woodland space there is going to screen that anyway? Is there going to be some of that?
We haven't staked the building out, but there's gonna be some natural screening that's happening already.
Yeah, because this rendering is showing us an open view,
Yeah,
which
it's
is
just
not
to show the
real.
architecture, not the actual site condition.
Yeah.
But Brett, I like your point though, because the trucks are gonna park as close to that door as they can, the U-Haul or whatever they're bringing in. And that's where the loading,
They're gonna unload outside if they can unload under a cover. Even sunshine.
well, you don't have to carry your stuff as far, you know, it's heavy and all that, so. Okay. Well, and then my other concern too is one of the other council conditions is interior storage units shall not be visible through windows. And so now you look at this rendering on the third floor on the right-hand side, there are 4 rather large windows, and I guess you're looking into those storage areas.
Is that a hallway?
It's more probably the corridor.
Because there are some
Yeah.
facilities like this around here that have hallways
Correct, yes.
that they're not used to the point where there's an objection to what you're seeing. I don't think that would be objectionable.
On the inside though,
Yeah.
I see that, and I'm not sure council wanted that. Is there a condition on it or no?
It says interior storage units shall
that's
not be visible through windows.
Okay,
That's a unit, it's the door of the unit.
so maybe they can tint those windows so you can't see them?
We could, a lot of
Only
times,
4 windows.
we could panel them, or we could paint them
corners.
too.
That's the
Because
Well-
it's higher.
Wall
Glaze.
color paint would be better than blacking the windows out, because then it's gonna look a little bit odd, where you're gonna see some light in the corners and different things like that, but if the storage doors are painted
The
wall
same color, they go away.
they go away.
Yeah.
But you get that advantage of having an open window light.
Oh, that's a really good idea.
The air, yeah, I like the windows just to help make
The
it
blue
look,
needs to
without the windows, it doesn't look like an office building.
Right.
It's almost like you need to add this, whatever you're doing on the right-hand side, you do on the left-hand side of the main entrance.
Right.
And even the IFAS areas there, turn those into windows, and then you really look like an office building.
So
These little insets.
Yeah, make those glass, tinted glass or something glass so that it looks like an office.
Spandrel glass.
Probably more doors.
Spandrel.
we could tint all of the glass that's going to be closing up a corridor.
Well,
I mean, I
I
guess,
like the painted door idea too.
assuming each floor is designed the same, I mean, unless that's a back, unless those are storage units that go this way, you know, then you can't do that.
yeah, we don't know what the floor plan looks like.
I think
But,
painting the doors the color of the wall is a really
Yeah,
good
or
idea.
at least a neutral color, right? So they're not standing out. You're not, don't accentuate the doors.
Yeah, you're talking about the,
You know what you're talking about, you drive by some and you see the orange door.
Yes.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Contractor, do you know what the second level, is that gonna be the same as the third?
It will.
So that would just, the doors would need to be painted as well?
Yep.
if you were
So there's a hallway behind those EFS panels,
Yes.
so you could make those windows.
So actually, I'm sorry. No, on the second floor, there will actually be units up against.
Okay, that's-
So it is slightly different. I'm sorry.
And third floor here too, as well?
Probably.
These units come to the outside wall? So the corridor must come this way, this is probably where the elevator or something is, and then you go to the other units.
Shock
These are
back.
probably bigger ones, small ones. Well, that explains that.
Okay. Yeah. The screening's a good idea, I'm just not sure how you do it.
yeah.
Only one in the middle?
Well, nowhere, I mean, the landscaping will do some level of it, and whether that's enough between the grade change and having the door tucked underneath.
Yeah, it's really hard to, between the natural trees, the screening you're gonna do, and the fact it's tucked underneath, it's really hard to, because you're looking down from.
I think to find the door as you're driving by, you'd have to be really looking for it.
Well, I agree with you, to find the door.
Yeah.
But
It's the,
with the door is gonna be all the vehicles.
Right.
And so it's gonna be more obvious that there's something going on there because there's a, a big U-Haul truck parked under there, even though they can't have the U-Haul dealership here. Clearly, the U-Haul trucks and whatnot are gonna be hovered around that door.
I mean, normal code for a street front parking is a double row of shrubs, right? That's your normal code requirement. So I think in this case, if we treat that outside edge landscaping with larger evergreens,
Double row of it.
double row.
Yes, I think if we start looking to screen it that way,
And I think, you know, the taller material will do better just because of the grade.
I think you gotta do taller material.
Yes.
And I think if we treat it in that manner, to treat it like a parking lot, you know,
That's-
that's
yeah.
30 feet, 20 feet back from a street edge. We do that. I gotta ask you this though, because I'm still not understanding where the walls are, Steve. And I don't know if you hear me rattling paper up here and looking, I'm trying to figure out where the walls are. And I thought you said
Right.
the revealed face of the wall is interior, not exterior.
Well, what I said is there's one up along the road that's gonna be facing.
So I have yet to see where these are.
All right, zoom.
Zooming's tough.
Oh, sorry.
Maybe he needs to come up there and take control of you guys.
So I've got this, here's Old Milton, here's this wall. And then I'm pushing it essentially into the slope to create another little.
Okay, so your reveal is on your entry road side, okay.
Facing entry road side.
Gotcha.
This is my.
Head wall, right?
Right. Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. There's nothing in it.
There's nothing in it.
And then here's the other wall here.
Which faces the neighboring
Faces-
senior
faces
care.
the, you know, the
And where's your reveal side of that?
You're gonna be able to see it from here.
So, okay.
But it's gonna be down, you know, this grade is 75 feet below
Okay.
that,
So all your walls are gonna be just see from the site. Okay.
for the most part, yeah.
Does that show wall on that drawing? Is there a wall shown on that drawing there?
Yeah, you can see, like, yeah, the grades kind of come in here and then tie back. And it kind of peaks out along here.
And how tall is that wall?
At the highest point, it's gonna be 4 feet,
4 feet.
4 to 0.
Okay.
And so just to clarify, so that everybody on the record can hear what you're talking about, is the face of all the walls are facing away from the street.
From the street.
And you've got planting right there in front of that wall.
Correct.
Okay.
So the walls are against the street, but facing opposite direction. So from the public right of way, we're not gonna
You won't see them.
see the face of the wall.
So is that something you guys can work on to provide that double row
Yes.
along that, I guess
Yeah.
that's west, right? Is that the west side?
The western edge along that, yes.
And treat it like you're trying to screen a parking lot, but you're trying to screen that parking lot with 12 to 14-foot tall evergreens.
Okay, yeah, we can do that.
So I'm a little confused on this plan here. This is the drive that we talked about that comes in.
Yep,
So this is building?
building above you, correct.
Yeah, the little squares you can hear, I think are the columns.
Those are the columns, correct.
Out here?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
So why can't this just be completely filled?
That's what we were talking about.
Right.
Okay.
Like a double
Just
row of.
To me, in this, the building looked like it ended back here.
Yeah,
I'm like,
that's
okay,
what I
we
thought.
got a
It-
driveway.
I didn't
That's what I thought,
didn't figure
too.
that out till about 10 minutes ago.
yeah.
It's tough,
Well, you're on your own, but you're busy moving the hand around.
We don't, this board doesn't work together. See, everybody's gotta be, everybody's.
I didn't want to inundate with too much information.
Still good?
So that
need to
makes-
know basis.
That makes then the possibility of some sort of enhancement with a planted wall
Right.
and the double, I think that makes a
Yeah.
lot of sense there. And I think then that would meet the council condition
Mm-hmm.
both ways.
Planted wall?
Well, these,
I was-
and Rick were talking about some sort of a,
But I think
Mesh
I think we
or
were
a-
maybe going through just like Pat said, a double row of tall screening
Yeah.
material there, like hollies or something.
Because the condition is to
Because a
screen
double
what's
row.
vehicles.
Yes, that's right.
The condition isn't to screen the building.
okay, so then a suggestion, maybe in your motion, there needs to be at time of planting height on that screening.
And maybe it'll work into your density, where, an evergreen has to be 12 to 14 to be a, 2-inch, 3-inch, whatever it is, and it has to be 14 to 16 to be a 4-inch, or,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I do. And I've just got to check on availability of that.
Oh, yeah.
That natural material, because those aren't grown as readily as some of the
Right. I mean,
standard stuff.
And just for me, when it comes to staff, and we go to do that approval of, yep, we think that's gonna meet the condition, I think adding a minimum at time of planting height,
Minimum
similar
height,
to what we
yeah.
go to parking lots, 2 foot at time of planting, I think we need to, if that's 14 foot high, I think we
6
I think
feet,
we need to be at least 7, 6,
Seven.
7, 8
6, 7,
at the time of planting.
6 to 8 was what I was thinking about.
Yes.
Well, and in the requirements for the code, there are ratios, if you will, that a 14-foot tall evergreen counts out to a certain caliper inch, which goes back to your densities and all that sort of stuff. And I'll let you guys figure that out.
We can.
So there, and again, it's based on availability. Can you get this stuff? But yeah, so you're saying minimum size at time of planting. David can work that out because I think
like a
you
loading
can
area
work back to your
too.
density.
And
Or do you want it in the motion?
But I don't think
And that's
I
on
don't
the,
think to meet the condition, we're gonna
it's
be able
down there.
to necessarily count it as density, because it's going in there to meet a specific condition. I think that's separate from the landscape, but.
You gotta let it count to density. You have to.
Because Pat says.
I don't know. I'm thinking not, just simply because it's meeting a specific condition.
There's no reason you can't double dip it though.
Yeah. I think it would count.
Yeah, there's no reason you can't.
Okay, well, in any case, that particular part is gonna be tied to this condition.
Condition.
So
Yeah.
when any of it, doesn't survive or whatever, it's gonna be.
Well, again, the applicant can work that back into
Right.
working,
I may upsize it from
Yeah.
addition and then,
but to have it separate is a pretty large
Ask.
chunk to put on them, including density, 'cause I mean, we're gonna have enough trouble planting density as it is, as you can see by the
Yeah.
stuff all over the place. If you don't count that in, then, I mean, you gotta have survivability anyway.
So where we end up, a double
I'd-
row,
I'd say put it in for your recompense.
double row, a 6 to 8 foot.
well, I do, I have to meet 4-inch minimum at that point to do it.
Right, so I'm,
Which I'd be fine with that, if I can find them.
right, why wouldn't you?
That's the key.
Okay.
Pat's throwing in his backyard. Okay.
So looking at the site plan that's on the monitor right now, so if folks drive in with their U-Haul, right, they come in and they want to unload, there's that first set of double doors right there on the, no, not, go north.
Yep.
Is that a loading and unloading spot too?
I'm not sure if that's a emergency egress or loading area, I'm not sure.
I would think it'd be with double doors and it's glass.
And that may be,
Almost looks like-
that may be, oh, that's the office. Okay, so that's not a loading area, that's for the
That's just office.
business office, yeah.
Okay.
That would be this one, correct?
Yes, sir.
So there's no loading or unloading. This is going on the record. There's no loading or unloading there.
Correct.
No, there's
That's
no,
where
there's,
you would go into rent a unit.
Okay. So the only place on that elevation is that center area where they load and unload? Okay.
Perhaps also because of the way we're talking about this, we talked earlier about making that wall look more interesting. We could keep that wall flat and you could save a few dollars if we're having to do what we're going to do to screen that side of the building.
yeah.
Yeah.
When you say flat, meaning, Richard,
We don't need to rusticate those panels and make it look interesting because we're not going to see them anyway.
because they're 30 feet
Back, yeah.
deep or
And they'll be-
back in the,
We're talking about screening that outside of that access lane, so they wouldn't be seen anyway.
I still think to get this office look, we've got to do something on that west elevation to add some windows or some architectural character on the left side of that higher entrance there, the left-hand side.
There was-
Windows on that side.
But they just said that that's storage units.
I have to say, I think looking at that, it's,
Well-
everything's identical. We don't have a floor plan, so it's hard to tell, but
They told us.
Like line of sight.
Yeah, it's more screened as you get.
I think there's a continuous corridor through there.
Oh,
I'm gonna bet, because you got an exit, you got to exit out on each end of the building, and so you're gonna,
You don't have a floor plan with you by chance, do you?
an architectural floor plan.
I don't.
I could possibly get one quick. You want me to?
I'm just trying to dress up the west.
While we're continuing on,
Well, I think we're getting close to, we're not looking at signage, so we're down to the end. We've talked about site, landscaping, now exterior elevation, so. I'm just trying to get that side to look like an office building.
I mean,
I agree that it needs something up here, whether it's the same thing, it looks unbalanced to me. One thing that I see in this that looks different than on the renderings is it looks like if these really are EVIS areas, they're doing scoring.
Yes.
I think you're right.
So
looks like.
that's not shown on the rendering though. On the renderings,
Well, I think that's,
No, it's there, it's just hard to
it's
see.
just hard to see.
Zoom in.
well, you look at the very upper corners. They've got some,
yeah, you can see.
It's got scoring, yeah.
I mean, my thought on this is, you know, when you're gonna see this building is at night. That's when you're really gonna, the glow is what you're gonna see. You know, I don't think you're really gonna notice that much during the day unless you see it every day. That's your off ramp if you're commuting every day or whatever. And it just makes sense to, if you can add windows on that side and make whatever's interior go away.
yeah.
It could be fairly interesting to actually, even though you're supposed to screen it.
Yeah, I guess you go ahead. At least you,
In the wintertime, might as well make it interesting because you're gonna see it at night. Unless none of that corridor is lit or something like that, but.
You're probably on, motion sensor lights, most likely. It's probably at a low light level until people walk through and then.
What about the end, those two end?
I think they'll be lit, but not obnoxiously. I think it'll have.
And I'm gonna guess that this will be, this corridor or whatever underneath here is gonna be illuminated all.
I think it'll have to be. It'll be 30 feet of cover is a long way, so it'll have some level of lighting underneath there.
is there a photo, did you do a photometric?
Yes, we did. It should be
Okay.
in the packet.
Is it in the packet? I don't know that I saw maybe I missed that.
So,
It's in the end of
Where'd we
our,
end up on?
we did a,
This one right here.
where'd we end
We
up?
need some,
What if we just did, like, faux went like bricked in look?
I think it needs to be consistent on each
If
side.
it's actually a corridor, yeah, then windows would be, I'm just kind of, if it is storage. But we don't know.
It is, it's storage,
It is definitely storage.
How do you know that?
just because I've been building them for about 10 years.
So the floor plan from, on the right side's not the same as the floor plan on the left side?
Correct.
probably different unit sizes.
Well, then we put spandrel panels in there or something.
Spandrel.
But we could do insets, or there are options.
And maybe it is spandrel, if you do spandrel panels everywhere, then you don't have to worry about what's behind it.
I'm thinking Lucabond.
We actually do a lot of
Vocabulary
fun.
for the day.
That's a word I hear all the time.
But it would be kind of nice to have, wouldn't it be kind of nice though, to have, light showing out of there, right? At least on
Yeah.
part of it, right?
Yeah.
Nighttime.
Just trying to make it look like an office building, but not see, I mean, they want light coming in.
Well, during the daytime, if it was spandrel glass on the left, I guess it'd kind of look the same on both sides. You guys good with that?
Or else,
Make it look like windows on the left side, but
well, the other option is you use clear glass, but you'd put a blind or something in there, then you can't see through it to see office buildings.
A lot of times what we do is we'll take the interior panel, so it would just be the neutral color that you see, and we can go right across the window.
just go right
So that way, yeah, so that is an option, so we could do that
And you put that on the inside of the glass or the outside of the glass?
on the inside.
Okay,
So that way you wouldn't really be able to, it would just look like glass to you. It
Right.
wouldn't look like it was covered.
I think that's what I think that's a good look then. It looks like glass, but you can't really see through it to see what's behind it.
Right.
And then we're not having to worry about any of those storage units, whether they're blue or orange or
Right.
purple or pink.
How's the illumination done inside? Is there illumination inside each unit, or is it?
It's like a film.
what do you think, we want to stick with our condition down here, even though you can't see it?
It depends on the size, so we usually cap it. A unit that's 10 by 15 or bigger,
That's just the same.
Just like we said. Yeah, we'll keep
Those-
it, even though it's not that.
those will likely be larger, but
Looks
they'll
consistent.
probably
Looks like
share
it.
a light between units, and they'll be on aux sensors.
So, would it be possible to, from common light, let that flush down behind that unit, between the unit and the window?
Yes,
You know what I'm saying?
yes, yes, I think you would get some
So that
illumination.
you would
Not so
still-
much that you would think that it was a blocked window, though.
Right,
Yep.
but you would get a little bit of light, so at night, you looked up there, you would see a little bit of light in that window.
Right.
Yes?
Yes, correct. So if someone is in the facility, so at night, it'll be dark unless someone's accessing it. Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
Normally, the lights would be out unless somebody's there.
Correct.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay.
I think if we could do that condition, keep that, right behind the glass, keep that color neutral for your wall color. Keep everywhere behind the windows that you've got storage units, those all get one color, wall color and door color. And we can add that window treatment on this area here to match this side.
You're mainly talking about this west elevation?
Yeah,
Yeah.
this one.
Right.
I mean, the other ones, you're never gonna see.
You're not gonna see, yeah.
Just on this one, I think that would be, I think the whole building then would complement.
Yeah.
If there is somebody in there like now, it's dark at 5:30, there's likely gonna be people in there, somebody buys, it's gonna look like all this.
So on the left side, though, if you put a wall behind it, you're not gonna see any light.
Well, she just said that wall would be, there would be space between that wall and the glass, so.
Oh,
so
okay.
Common light,
So it's not right up against it, it's,
So we would panel up against it, but I think you would still get a little bit of illumination over top, unless you guys didn't want that, and then we could,
I think it would be
Keep it.
better if there was some illumination that got behind that window,
right.
to me.
I agree. We're going for the office look, so.
Right.
Yeah.
Those sorts of things would occur, would create that.
Okay. All right. I think
We
we could,
want to look, I mean, we didn't really look at any of the other sides, they're not nearly as important as these.
right.
no, I think that's the,
It's all the same materials,
I'd
right?
like to see what you see from Morris Road. Or, whatever the entry road is. Did you drive by it for the, what is it?
Old Milton Parkway?
No, because you drive by, the other road that goes to the senior care facility.
Inspired living?
Yeah.
no, that's
Guess
more
you
of
really
this.
don't see it, do you?
That's-
You
That's
got a
way
lot of
back.
stuff.
That's private, yeah, and it's way up in grade.
Well, we
I
can,
retract the statement.
Really, it's that other side.
so this faces inspired living,
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
this faces Old Milton Parkway.
Yep.
So we don't really have this little spot back here in a rendering, but we don't have this.
We've got it in elevation, but not in a rendering.
Yeah. But this is the absolute least
Yes.
seen anywhere.
Yeah.
That faces the floodplain.
Okay. Another council condition talks about the dumpster shall have a brick enclosure with painted metal doors, final approval by DRB. You have any images of the dumpster to show us?
No, we haven't.
It's down there at the bottom.
Get it figured in.
Oh, move your hand to the left, Brett. I think it's, keep going. Whoa, right there. I think that's the dumpster.
It looks like to me.
Yep.
What do you got screening it, plant-wise?
My eyes are not good.
I forgot mine today, so.
With the council condition.
Arborvitae's, wax leaf ligustrums,
And brick and paint metal, matching the
mainly
building.
just large shrubs,
Submit that to staff.
screening it.
Finally, yeah.
They can look at it. It's probably gonna be painted brick. Okay.
Arborvitae's, what, like emerald arborvitae?
Emerald, yeah. Along the backside.
What's the wall there?
It would be the painted
It'll
brick.
be the painted brick to match the other.
All right.
Not gonna see that thing probably from.
Probably
No, I guess-
not, but it is a condition, so.
Yeah. So site lighting, I saw you had the standards, but I didn't see a photometric.
Oh, there it goes. Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Can't really see that, can we?
We're kind of in the middle of the forest, so I don't think there's really going to be any issue. But we did make it so there's no,
Spillover.
yeah.
Okay.
No, it's not, we don't have that in our.
Yeah, we don't have that.
I remember
draw-
seeing that, yeah.
Yeah, we don't have that drawing. So Brett, could I guess you can't zoom into that photometric site plan?
I can,
Just to give us, see what the numbers are.
So all the blues are
Zero.
Okay.
this is going along
Kate Milton.
up here,
Yeah.
it's nothing that way. So
Yeah.
You don't have any street lighting along the?
We didn't bring it in. Again, this is, the entrance drive was not as important as getting the area where the parking lot and such is. So,
Almost nothing.
Yeah, I was gonna say. it's in
No,
front of-
Yeah,
no
okay.
light poles and tree islands or any of that stuff?
As I look at the aerial photograph here, there's a significant amount of woods that buffers this thing everywhere,
yeah.
because you're not disturbing the grades where the woods are now.
No, we can't
Yeah.
because of the buffers.
All right, so, Mr. Chairman, regarding DRB 210060, Midgard Self-Storage, motion to approve the elevation of materials as presented today with the following conditions. The faux roll-up doors will be replaced with inset brick in the lighter brick color, lined up with the ephes panels above. Continuing on the west elevation, applicant will install matching windows on the top floor on the left side to match the windows on the right side of the building. Behind the windows will be a wall painted a neutral color, but allowing some illumination through the windows. Any doors visible behind windows will be painted a neutral color. The dumpster will have a brick enclosure with painted metal doors to match the building, with final approval by staff. End of motion.
Second. Yeah. Give it to Owen.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Swing, a second by Mr. Owens. Very thorough motion, that is, for exterior elevations and materials. Any comments or questions? I need to ask for public comment too, so any public comment about this applicant?
We have one public.
Okay, there being none, all right. No public comment.
Yes.
Yes.
For the interior doors, instead of saying a neutral color, I think they need to be painted the wall color.
Yeah, I wasn't concerned if they look like doors.
They just need to be, whatever the wall color interior, that's what the doors says, they just go away.
It seems like it seems like the condition was very concerned about seeing in there.
So let me ask you, are they roll-up doors or are they just doors?
No, I'm talking about the interior ones.
They're
Oh, they are roll-up? Okay. Then I agree. I thought they were, looking at the
It looks like they were.
rendering, they just
like
look like
man-
office doors.
Yeah, man doors type
Yeah.
thing, okay.
Yeah.
I
All
think
right.
it helps the condition if we do wall color, door color is the same.
Yeah.
Neutral color, yes, but the wall and the door, I think to meet the condition need to be the same.
Yeah, unless they paint the wall blue.
I mean, it specifically says storage units not be seen, doesn't say anything about doors or whatever, but you assume the storage units is the door, right?
Right.
No.
All right, so let's do,
So we could just, so we could say is any, walls and doors that can be seen behind the windows will be painted a neutral color, matching neutral color, something like that. So the same color.
Yeah, how do you define neutral?
Yeah, that's.
Blue's definitely not neutral.
Blue is not neutral.
Sky blue?
That's primary.
Neutral color with final approval by staff.
There you go.
So
All right,
I
so
guess I
let's-
can't amend my motion.
Let's do this then.
Somebody can do a
If
friendly
Ms.
amendment.
Palmer can offer a friendly amendment to Mr. Swing, then we can go from there.
Mr. Vice Chairman, do a friendly amendment to change the wording to say neutral color, the walls and doors to be a neutral color,
Same.
per staff. Wait, approved per staff.
A matching neutral color.
So walls and doors will be a matching neutral color with final approval by staff. Is that-
Correct.
Am I saying that?
Correct, yes,
Okay.
you said it better.
So that's your friendly amendment. All right, Mr. Swing, do you accept that friendly amendment?
I do.
Okay, and then Mr. Owens, because you seconded the motion, do you accept the friendly amendment?
Certainly I do, yes.
Okay, very good. All right, we got consensus on that. All right, any other comments or questions? No, because this is a brand-new application, so you're good. You can participate.
Before we do a vote, can we just, because that was a big one, so can we read it back, make sure?
Okay, let's do that, all right?
Sounded to me like she had it.
No, the beginning of the motion.
The faux roll-up doors will be replaced with brick and the lighter brick color lined up with the ephes colors above. In regards to west elevation, the applicant will install matching windows on the top floor on the left side to match the windows on the right side. And then the original was behind the windows will be a wall painted a neutral color, but allowing some illumination through the windows. And then the friendly amendment was the walls and doors that can be seen must be painted a matching neutral color with final approval by staff. And then the dumpster will have a brick enclosure with painted to match the building with final approval by staff.
Painted metal doors
Metal doors.
Yeah,
on the enclosure.
yeah, and the only minor difference is instead of the faux roll-up doors, it was inset brick sections. Inset brick.
Okay.
Yes, I got that insight, okay. All right,
That was very good, though.
That was awesome, Alex. I thought you had it just listed, tapped away.
Killing it.
oof. Okay, any other comments or questions about the motion and the friendly amendment? There being none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of the motion with the friendly amendment, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All opposed, no opposition, motion passes 6-0. Let it be known that Ms. Rocco had to leave, so she did participate, but was not able to vote. Okay, we still have the site plan and the landscaping plan to do something with.
Two chunks, two site plan.
Let's do two chunks.
I would like to make the motion regarding Midgard Self-Storage DRB 210060, that we approve the site plan as submitted. In the motion.
I'll second.
Okay. A motion by Mr. Corkle, a second by Mr. Swing. Any comments or questions about the motion? There being none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All opposed, no opposition. Motion passes 6-0. All right, that's the site plan.
So, now, I'll make the motion regarding the landscaping on Midgard Self-Storage, that we approve with the following conditions. 1, planting on the west side, which is the back side of the curb, shall be a double row of evergreens to screen, and the evergreen shall be 8-foot minimum height at time of planting. Second condition, applicant shall work with staff regarding the tree planting along the entry road for proper species of shade overstory and understory. I could probably word it a little bit better, but came out kind of clunky. And condition number 3, Applicant shall work with staff at time of certificate of occupancy to review the areas of buffer gaps and the necessity of planting the gaps. End of motion.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Corkle, a second by Ms. Rhodes. Comments, questions? Okay, there being none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All opposed, no opposition. Motion passes 6-0. All right, very good. Yeah, you know what? I think that could either be part of the site plan, but we probably should do something. Let's do it.
Lighting
Yeah.
motion?
I mean, now that we haven't really kind of mentioned it,
Can.
and we were all okay with it, you can do either one.
I think it's okay.
Just asking questions.
Okay, no.
Yeah.
I guess now, will you be back for signage? We will be back for signage. So there will be some signage going somewhere, okay? I think the site lighting, then, we've talked about it, and we don't need to, as long as they follow what they've submitted.
As long as they follow what they submit.
Well, but do you have, I guess, Brett, you have this lighting plan, it just wasn't in our packet. Okay, that's okay then, all right. Okay, very good. Steve, Robin, thank you for your time this morning, appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Okay,
Mr. Chairman,
The color samples and all that stuff? I don't know where they went.
okay. So, here.
You want to keep those?
regarding our next item,
So,
back in September when we first heard the cooler, there was a wicked virus going around that kept me from being here.
okay,
And I was also recused when we heard the case again in December. So Theresa and I may need to recuse ourselves here, and with 4 of you, there'd still be a quorum.
well, hang on just a minute, because if you recuse yourself and Teresa recuses herself, Pat didn't participate last time. That leaves Holly, Frank, and Frank didn't participate last time. Or how do we want to,
We determined that who was here on the first one, since there wasn't subsequent action. And
Okay.
So were you here on the first one?
No.
So then you can't.
Teresa,
Teresa can't. Katie's not here,
right,
so it's gonna be you 4.
okay.
And we could, well, we don't need,
Well, what happened is, Mr. Brown participated last time. He's no longer here.
yeah, but Pat did, Frank did, you did, and Holly did, so that's our 4.
That's our 4.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Well, so our next applicant's going to be the cooler. So it looks like you're here. Come on down. We're taking a quick recess here while we figure out who's able to participate and get our coffee cups refilled. Now, Mr. LeCain, did you participate in September on the cooler? Were you here September? Because if that's the case, then Mr. LeCain can participate. September, okay. All right, so you're participating, Pat? Yes.
So the minutes would have been in the October.
I didn't bring those minutes, shoot. Yeah, they would have,
He wasn't there.
all right, so Tom, you weren't here, so, okay. All right, I was trying to get you to join us, but.
You need us to stick around.
No, you're welcome to, that's going to be the last applicant, so you're welcome to head out now. I don't know.
We'll eat all the food before you.
Did they order this lunch here yet? Okay. so
Yeah, they brought it
It's been brought in? Okay, so grab some lunch and you can eat there or you can take it with you. So anyway, thanks for being there. Have a good weekend. Thanks, Teresa. Yeah, good. All right, you got your first taste of,
Who we got?
Yeah, we had some easy ones, one more complicated one.
okay. We're in recess, so let us,
For you 2 that are leading, there is some box lunches back there. If you want to stay, we'll be done in a little bit. If you want to grab and go, you're welcome to go. We'll see you next month. Otherwise, we'll see you in a little bit.
Next month is February 18th. Okay?
Yes, no problem, thank you.
And I noticed the cover on her binder is way nicer than the cover on my binder.
I can get you a nice.
Definitely upped your game a little since.
I never even got a binder. What do you mean?
Well, but binders weren't
I had to
invented
provide my
26
own
years
binder.
ago. Look, see, I just got a blue thing. She has a picture and everything.
I will make sure to get
All
you
right.
this one.
Okay, bear with us. We're still in recess. Let Mr. Corkle get back, and then we can get going, so we have a quorum. I'm just going to stand up and stretch my legs.
So I have all of your images up here, so I'll try to open them as we try to look at something, but I think this one that I've got up is probably the best one.
All right, lunch is coming up, so no quick questions. In anticipation?
No, just because. Waiting for just a quick, I have a bagel. It's gone.
Oh, really?
So,
Okay, let's end our recess
gets that city council.
and get going with our next applicant, the cooler. All right, good morning. You're here.
Good morning.
All right.
Myself too, yeah.
Still morning?
It is. It's still morning. Okay. If you'll introduce yourself, and then make sure you speak into the microphone and give us an overview of what we have in our packet today, please.
My name is Ronnie Jackson. I'm co-owner of the cooler in the North Studios. We have an overview of the addition, the indoor-outdoor balcony for the studio portion. So we've come back a couple times. I made pretty much the adjustments that were asked of me. Mr. Brent was gracious enough to come out to the site and see it and help me a little bit, so this is where we are. I know it was a concern about the slant, so we fixed that. In the front, so basically it'll be the same material that's already on the existing building, which would just be a panel.
Okay.
That's it's up on the screen, right, Brett?
Yeah, that's this,
Called fascia.
Yeah,
this
it looks like
fascia
you
here.
took it off the building.
Just took it off the building so it wouldn't be no misunderstanding.
You gotta put that back.
Yeah. just
Oh,
took
no
it off-
kidding, huh?
Yeah, took it
I
off.
was
the
being
building.
facetious.
Wow. Okay.
Slightly used.
I told the contractor, just cut it off. I'll just take it up.
They literally.
And so that is a piece of this, if you look at your screen there, that's a piece of this.
Correct.
Which is gonna be replicated here, just in a smaller size.
Yes, sir.
And it's painted, right?
It comes in standard colors,
Oh, so
white,
It's
black.
a
so-
baked on enamel.
It is, okay.
Yeah, it's baked on, so it lasts
So it
longer.
comes in a set color. Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
And that color is gonna match the existing.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Walk us through, is there a floor plan? I know there's a floor plan somewhere, Brett. Just, I know there was like a first floor.
What, do you know which one of these is your floor plan?
I do not. I'm sorry about that.
It was this one.
There we go. Okay. All right, so that looks like that's the first floor of the ground floor.
Yes.
And that's what is open.
That's that existing fence there that's got horizontal slats on it that are gonna be painted black.
Okay, and that's to hide the condensing units that are on the ground right there.
Yep.
Correct.
Yep.
Okay.
Let me go then to this one.
That was the existing fence?
Yes.
Sir.
It's there now?
Yes.
Okay, when I took the picture, I guess I took it from the road, I didn't see that.
It's tucked up under there. But it's there.
Underneath that structure?
Right.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's-
I thought it was out further, okay.
Where was my first one? I lost my first plan. Anyway, yeah, it's up underneath the structure.
Okay. So that existing was meant specifically to screen the,
Yeah, there are two big AC units under there. They're huge.
Black is the fence.
Yeah, you can sort of see it there a little bit.
Yes, you can, yeah. But, that was before. Before they started building the structure there, yeah, okay.
So you can see it back under there.
Okay. All right, so that's what's screening the units, all right, and let's go, but otherwise, that's wide open, you can walk
Yes, sir.
around there, okay. Okay, and then the second floor, I guess this is the second floor we're looking at now. All right, and we've got that outdoor balcony kind of, that faces West Side Parkway there, okay?
Yes, sir.
And
This is the door into the second level to get out to this area here. These are interior stairs, so the cooler wall is here.
okay. And remind me again, what is the purpose of this second floor space?
Just an extension, just like a lounge, just to kind of
Okay.
get out of the general studio area.
Okay.
People can relax.
All right,
Yeah, I'm just noticing on the elevation diagram, in fact, it was immediately following on those panels, instead of that, it says white stucco type fascia panels. So just a discrepancy between, I think, the elevation diagram and what you just showed us.
Yeah, maybe, I don't, let me see. There's actually a diagram that, well, it does say, exactly.
yeah,
That's what it says.
as you said that, I remember.
But it's basically the same material that's
Yeah.
on the existing.
Just pointing out that the diagram has some inaccuracy in it that we should note.
Okay, where to next? So that's a rendering of that
And that's your
area.
railing material there.
Yeah, this is just basically storefront materials that'll
Okay.
just be, painted. And here's the actual sample of the existing colors of the building. So all
Okay.
of the
Okay, yeah.
columns and panels and everything like that.
Okay,
Storefront bronze, okay.
So this is a good image. This is right around the corner, so right down here at the corner of the building, be in the rear on this picture, but is where the addition's going in up top. So same materials. It's got the wall materials. You've got your dark bronze and then the clear anodized.
Is the balcony totally enclosed with
Yes.
glass? It is
Yes.
totally, but then there's also a railing?
Yes, there's like maybe 5
you
feet.
can walk outside, there's a balcony.
Oh, there's a
area.
balcony
Yeah.
area. I
The
got it.
glass, there you go.
You get 3 dimension, I see it, okay.
You can walk out there.
Let me go back then to the,
Yeah, okay.
Smoking
Right, right.
not that one.
Yeah, okay, I get it.
This one. Yeah, so this little area right here, like 3 or 4 feet,
Yep,
that's the open balcony.
That's the balcony, yeah.
okay, gotcha, okay.
And it's got the cable kind of railing on that last picture you just had up, Brett,
Yeah.
before this is that same cable railing?
Yes, sir.
Aircraft cable railing?
Table, okay.
Yep, okay. There,
Yeah, this same railing that's here is up there.
okay.
But that one's not bronze. Is the one up there gonna be bronze, or is it gonna look like that?
Well, it says it'll just be the steel aluminum
It's
cylinder.
gonna be steel aluminum?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay. Okay,
Which I thought seemed a little bit weird, but the storefront
Is
down here is the, is
Natural
the
anodized
aluminum, so, yeah.
it matches that.
Yeah, at the top, is it, up on the balcony, is it the same as those windows you showed us, though? It's the anodized aluminum, but then surrounded with
Yes.
bronze?
Yes. It
And
basically
the
looks,
rest, so everything matches?
Yes,
but
sir.
All the materials match, from the balcony to the rest of the building, okay?
yes.
Yeah, as far as the palette, I mean, it's that right there.
Yeah, okay.
Brett, that elevation you just, or the rendering you just had for that one. So the floor or the exposed section of flooring, that piece and that piece, are those going to line up with the existing building line materials? See what I'm saying?
Like
So
they show right here?
It looks like it does, but it looks like the materials are a little bit different color or whatever.
I don't know if we have it's gonna line up like that. That floor is gonna be a dark bronze colored on a strip, but I don't know if I have a picture.
I can't tell from
So so the edge of that floor is dark bronze?
Yeah, it will be bronze because it's still.
Bronze around the edge of the balcony,
yeah, correct.
basically, okay.
I don't have a picture. The best I can do is just say that it appears that it's lining up with that dark line right there.
I would say it needs to.
Do you know if it does?
Yeah, it'll be.
Do you have a picture, an actual picture of that?
Well, it's just still beaming right now. So,
I know, but do you have a picture of where it is by chance?
Let me see.
It would just look odd if it intersected that horizontal plane if
I
new one
agree.
does
I agree.
not match it.
And
I don't think you could do it in pure width of it.
Move the floor, clear. I mean, it is what it is.
Well,
yeah.
Pat, it looks like it does on one end, the picture I took. It looks like it, or at least the structural piece looks like it lines up with the top of the gray band.
Or it's at least close.
So if it's,
What I'm saying is once all the fenestration or finished material start stacking up on top of that it does not intersect that existing wall in an
The
odd
white part.
Yeah.
line.
I think it needs to line up just like this.
Right.
Line
Yeah,
up
and
with
that-
And I think it does.
And Holly just brought up the other version of that it does.
well, yeah, the structure is there, so they're already locking themselves into something.
Right. Yeah, you don't quite see the building behind it, though. I would just,
Well, it looks like the rendering shows, the intent of the rendering shows it lining up.
Yeah.
I would just make it known that it needs to.
Yeah.
It would just,
How about Google Images?
Yeah,
Was it there?
it wasn't
It wasn't there yet.
Wasn't there yet, no.
So it's basically the question: is it going to be bronze?
We
No,
just
is
want
it-
to make sure the horizontal, the new part of the building, the horizontal pieces line up with the horizontal.
So you see where your
bands.
floor is here, Ronnie?
Correct.
It needs to hit the building in that dark band.
Well, the thing is, we had the building permit, so whatever the code told us the height to build it at is kind of what we were stuck at.
But what you can do then is you can clad, of course, the structural steel piece is there, then you can clad it and make the cladding deeper if you need
Okay.
to make sure it matches that width.
Yeah, whatever needs to be done, we'll.
it would just look even more like an add-on, if you will, if it doesn't somehow match up to the existing building line. If all of a sudden your new piece comes in higher or lower and it just
No, I get it.
becomes disjointed.
But my visual of it, it does match up, but I can find pictures or something, but it
Yeah,
mostly
just,
matches up.
yeah, stand back, shoot a picture and send it to me
Okay,
of where that floor beam hits the wall.
okay.
December 2020.
Yeah.
That's just
More than a year ago?
Yeah, it's been there quite a while.
2 years.
Oh, okay. So if
Yeah.
you look in here, it looks, again, it looks darn close to.
It looks pretty
Looks
clear.
like it's lining up with the top edge of that brown stripe. And then once you clad it, if you come down, then it should line up.
What, let's see, hang on, I'll go back to.
What you guys figuring out? So the landscape plan for the upper area shows
That's the first.
walkways. And I'm assuming that's a walkway that plugs into the existing walkway.
Yes, sir.
So this is what we're
But this
looking
is
at
the
to
floor
approve,
he's talking
Brett?
about.
Yep.
Yeah, looks like it comes pretty close, doesn't it?
Looks like it lines up right at the top.
Yeah, so,
of the color
so
band.
here's the fence that's there. And the upper, actually the fence,
No, the fences, yeah, recent.
this is the
Footprint or,
footprint of
Whatever.
the new addition.
those are the columns, right? Those little
Yeah,
squares.
and there's a existing fire exit here, so they're gonna maintain that
Can
out.
you access that walk from the bottom half of the existing wall?
From here, from down here, not yet. Not yet. Or wait, no, we can't. There is a fire exit down here on the building, so they gotta connect that and go this way for the fire marshal. But we talked about making some exterior stairs exterior of that big wall that's there to come out and go right here.
Exterior of the wall?
Yeah.
So the stairs extend past the wall line?
So the stairs may extend, not right now, but in the future they may. And simply because of the existing fire exit that's here, they would then be able to access right straight down to the ground rather than have to take the path all the way up along here.
You're carving up that existing wall to do it.
Well, by the time
Well,
you
that's-
get up there, the wall tapers, gets smaller,
Yeah.
right? Because the ground is about where that truck is, right? You only have, looks like you only have a few.
So
feet.
the only reason that
Feet
they're
of wall.
wondering if that might be a good idea in the future is construction-wise right now, they've got a set of construction steps there, and so they're using them.
Yes.
And
Oh,
the
there
thought
they-
is, wow,
There's
that's
the
pretty
construction
handy.
steps.
That's pretty handy, because there's a lot of parking right there.
There's a whole.
Well, so it may end up being the parking and then the entrance for these guys right there, but that's not planned right now. They're just extending the sidewalk down to meet the existing fire.
This landscape plan is right now.
This landscape plan is addressing it, yes, but the stairs aren't there.
Okay. Just couldn't figure out that.
I know,
spot.
yeah.
Okay, any questions about the building? Because we do have we're looking at some landscaping, but any other questions about the building? Okay, let's look at the landscaping then, because they have a couple landscape drawings. All right, so this is around the addition, or at the addition.
I think, so is there a fence above that wall?
Yes.
Okay, so you have to worry about falling off the
Yeah, there's
the
an
road.
existing fence.
fences there. Brett, can you pull up somehow on Google Earth the section of West Side Parkway? Because I know we looked at this time before last, and I had some comments on it. I think
You're going too far.
comments, but- There it is. Yeah, I just want it, I'm assuming they know the grades there better than I do. It just looks like that turf kind of,
Here?
yeah, the top side of that turf just looks like it comes down a pretty
Yeah.
heavy
That's pretty
steep
steep.
area.
Yeah.
It is.
Well, I think it was a dry bed or something they were trying to put in there.
The only thing I would urge you guys to do is put in some sort of a sight lines. Can you make a left out of here?
Yes, you can.
So you can go left out of
You
that.
can go left or right.
Yeah.
So I would just encourage the city staff to have them do a sight line study.
Here?
Because I'm not quite sure that those emerald green arborvitaes are gonna be allowed for site views.
Is this landscape coming out that's existing?
No, it's gonna stay.
So the plan that's in here is this
Is that
And some.
and some?
and some? Okay.
Because I know it was a concern what they're doing on the other side, so then we tried to kind of match and get the same person, and then we came and you guys, well, Pat, you suggested that we kind of just get rid of everything and just grass it because nothing was gonna kind of hold on there. So,
I'll get Eric to drive out there, and just put eyes on where these are and stuff. Normally, what he says is the way you're supposed to approach an intersection like this is you stop at the stop bar, and then you creep forward until you have visibility, and as long as you don't creep past
Into the.
the lane of traffic and can get visibility, it's okay.
That's Eric's
That's Eric's,
standard.
that's his thing,
I wish that was my standard and I gotta put drawings together.
right?
and there's another big, just like, as you see in the picture, there's like a additional path that you get over into, so it's just not just traffic and you go.
There's a turn lane.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's
Right
a-
there. There's a turn lane right
Yeah,
there.
there's a turn
so-
lane here.
Well, and
and it's one on the other side as
So
well, as you see.
you can get into this area in here.
I mean, the drawing doesn't show the existing landscape and then you're working around it. the drawing shows that it's all new.
Brett, can you pull up the drawing that was in our package?
Whatever staff works out, I'm okay with it.
There you go.
I don't want to try and figure out what's new, what's existing, because it doesn't, this drawing doesn't show that. The drawing shows everything brand new.
Yeah, it does.
So
Because these are like over here,
they're existing, right.
existing, yeah.
They're back away from the
There's
corner.
a lot of existing stuff right there on that corner. But those are emerald green arborvitaes that are right on the edge of
On
curve,
this
which
curve here, yeah.
would never be allowed.
Almost need to switch these two.
Yep.
Get this out front and put the emeralds behind.
But he just said that stuff's staying.
Wait, I'm so confused. Why is the sidewalk so low in West Side? I mean, the sidewalk's right on West Side.
I think there's a secondary walk.
Wait a minute.
There is a secondary walk up.
Oh, the road is at the bottom, yeah.
Is this
No,
your,
that's West Side Parkway up there.
Yes,
The
that's the
top.
driveway.
oh, it is.
Whose sidewalk is
Oh,
that?
that must be
Google Earth it,
the,
there's a sidewalk.
that must be the internal sidewalk you're
There
talking,
is a sidewalk.
Yeah.
the one that goes along the
Near
top of
the-
that
yeah.
retaining wall?
Okay, I'm like, what are we looking at? Okay,
Fred had pulled it up, Google
No, it's
Earth.
the,
but where?
No, there's a sidewalk down by West Side
It's a
Parkway.
road.
Well, that's our parking.
Right, but the sidewalk you shown in your drawing, you have it shown in the back, and the
Is there a
sidewalk,
sidewalk up top?
Well, there's a big
there's a road.
parking road or fire
There's a
lane.
driveway, there's a drive lane up top.
Okay, so you're right then. So this drawing's not nearly accurate.
yeah, the sidewalk's on
It's
the
like it's backwards.
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying, because it says just where they put West Side Parkway.
I think
that's
West
the
Side
street.
Parkway needs to be shown down here.
Yeah,
I see what you're
there we
talking
go.
about.
Yeah,
I just got it. I was like,
yeah, and this end is their
Exist there,
exit.
right?
Okay.
Sorry.
Go back to the picture.
This is their exit down here.
And so that's on the right-hand side, what's exists?
Got it. Okay.
I'll let staff figure it out. This hurts my head.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
well, no, if you look at it that way, like you explained, and then those emerald, they're like this side, these 5 emerald
right there.
arborvitaes are in that picture, are
Yeah,
the ones.
they're right there.
The
Yeah.
existing ones. Okay.
And I didn't see it before, but there's the fence.
Yes.
That's gonna be black now. Yeah.
Okay.
perfectly clear.
Okay. All right, have we covered everything? Landscaping, exterior elevations and materials? I guess we don't need to do a site plan.
No.
And are you doing any signage?
as of right now,
No.
trying to get this done. If we decide, we'll come back.
Okay,
Be happy to.
all right.
We did discuss it. I'll just put it out there. We did discuss it, that building that parapet, that little thing above, not only hid the wall, but gave him a nice spot for signage if that comes forward, yeah.
Okay.
All right, Mr.
Hopefully there's
Chairman,
been some electrical up there.
regarding DRB 210043, the cooler, motion to approve elevation of materials as presented with the clarification that the bronze cladding around the floor level of the balcony lines up with the dark horizontal band on the building.
Okay, end of motion.
End of motion.
Okay,
Second.
all right, have a motion by Mr. Swing, a second by Ms. Palmer. Any comments or questions about the motion? There being none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. All opposed, no opposition. Motion passes 4-0. Okay. Landscaping.
That's all you, Pat.
I will make the motion on the cooler landscaping. That we approve with the condition that the applicant work with staff on sight lines, sightline visibility, put it that way, and existing versus new on the plans. End of motion.
Second.
Okay, motion by Mr. Corkle, a second by Ms. Palmer. Comments, questions about the motion? I guess staff feels comfortable. They'll be working with the applicant on this, on the landscaping. Okay. Any other comments, questions? There being none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. 2, 3, 4. All opposed, no opposition. Motion passes 4-0. All right, very good. Thank you, Ronnie, for your time today. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good job, Ronnie.
Yeah.
All right.
Nobody in the audience.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ronnie. Oh, yes.
Yeah, you can have
Glue
that.
it back on.
All right. There being no further business and with no objections from fellow board members, this meeting is hereby adjourned. Okay. Good job.
See, Alex, see what I got here?